Welcome to another episode of Lost in the Script TV, episode 186, Culture Wars. How y'all doing? Hope peace on the sleepy Saturday to Duke in the chat. What up? Sorry I'm a little late. Had a little technical difficulties, but I was able to get around it. It's funny how entertainment is so political now. You know, culture wars and entertainment seems to be the most political thing in America at this point. But anyway, man, hopefully y'all are in a good space. To those betrothed or booed up, hopefully you had a good Valentine's Day if you celebrated. Hopefully it was a good day for y'all as all days. Hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. Be sure to like it on your way in. Okay, let me. All right. A lot of stories to get to. This shouldn't be, I say this sometimes and it end up being long. This shouldn't be a long episode, I'll be honest. I gotta get to something later. So I'm probably not gonna be on here as long as normal, but I'm gonna try to get to some stuff and hopefully have a good episode. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We starting with Virginia said today's our 30th anniversary. Congratulations. We don't off. Hopefully 100 more. So yeah, we can get right into this. Congratulations to you and yours. Let's get to another 20 that happened that seems to be prepared to be reunited. Michael B. Jordan is proud of Jonathan Majors' resilience and would work together again after Majors' assault conviction. That's my guy, my boy. I'm gonna say this, man. Back during the Creed rollout, when they were going around doing a lot of media and interviews and stuff, Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors were clearly tied at the hip during that time, not just from a standpoint of promoting the movie, but you can clearly tell there was an agenda being pushed to make these two people twinned in the industry to, you know, it was almost I compare it to the Will Smith, Martin Lawrence type situation, where no matter how high Will Smith goes, no matter where he is, he always makes sure to bring up Martin Lawrence. So you could tell they have a real brotherhood, even if it's just from an acting or entertainment standpoint. Will Smith makes sure that Martin Lawrence is as appreciated as he is a lot of the times. That's what this relationship reminds me of. The Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. That's Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors. Mark Gordon, what up? What's good? But I will say, if I'm Jonathan Majors and I just had the worst year and a half of my career, because I ain't gonna say his life, because I'm sure he's had worse things happen than just his career. But if I had a worst year and a half of my career and I didn't get a peek from you, no support really. I think he kind of stood with him in the beginning, but once that conviction came down, he got real quiet. Or that's a conviction when he was found guilty of the misdemeanor BS. And to now, after you see the reaction to my trailer of my new movie, you now shout me out, posting it on your social media. You know, I would be a little, I don't know. Then again, we don't know that thing behind the scenes. Maybe there was an understanding that, hey, I'm gonna separate publicly, but I'll get back to you. So hopefully that's what it was. What up, Ashley? Shalom, everyone. Shalom to you and your family. All right, so that's just that quick little story. I am looking forward to both of these movies, and I do hope that it's good enough for a sequel, and maybe we'll get a Jonathan Majors in the sequel to that Sinners movie. But hopefully it's a good movie, and we're almost there. I think a month before it comes out, somewhere around there. So we shall see. Let's go ahead and move on. This is a quick story. I want to ask you a question about this. Last Chance U participants filed a lawsuit against Netflix and others. 6 players alleged their reputations were tarnished without tarnished without compensation by Netflix's Last Chance U. Last Chance U is a TV show dedicated to college football players who are kind of on their last legs, whether it's academic, they can't keep their grades up, so they get kicked off the teams, or they have some behavioral problems, or maybe they're just not quite good enough to the school they went to, and they couldn't find another school, so now they're here trying to get back on the track so they can get to have a chance at the NFL. A lot of these dudes, and it's a TV show, so it's edited a certain way. So they're accusing Netflix of kind of putting them in a certain light. So now it's forever tarnished their image. So now and they're saying we didn't get paid for this. Six former Mississippi junior college football players alleged that they were portrayed in a false light and received no compensation for appearing on Netflix's docuseries and others obtained by Front Office Sports. The players are seeking $30 million in damages in their lawsuits filed this month in Los Angeles. In the complaint, the six alleged they were portrayed in a misleading, offensive, or highly objectionable manner over the first two seasons of Last Chance U and received no money despite the series' success. The National Junior College Athlete Association, East Mississippi Community College, which was among the production companies involved in the series, and the series director, executive producer were also listed as defendants. Make no mistake, each of the defendants have been unjustly enriched by intruding upon the private lives of the plaintiffs, taking unfair advantage of them through defendants' superior bargaining power, manipulating many of the plaintiffs' characters along with other means for their own financial gain, while sacrificing any decent reputation plaintiffs had. The players' attorney, John Pierce, wrote in a lawsuit. Let's say this. I'm still surprised that in 2025, people go on reality, quote unquote, TV shows, and they have producers in their ears telling them to do certain things for entertainment value, or they're surprised by how the editing makes them look in certain conversations. And then they say they were painted in a bad light, and then they want to get paid. It seems more like this seems more like a case of we didn't get what we wanted out of it, as in an opportunity at another college. So now we're going to double back and say, hey, this show was a success, and we think we should get paid for it. I do wish that people were more mindful of their character. As someone once said, they can't edit what you don't give them. So you got to be careful with that. But they want $30 million, and I'm never going to necessarily say they don't deserve whatever they ask for. Hey, if they can get it, get it. Congratulations to them if they get it. Unfortunate if they don't. Shout out to them. Let me show something else. Hold on. One thing, what the hell? Sorry, y'all. Doesn't want to load. All right, here we go. All right, quick update on this. Not gonna stay on it long. Mr. Man, Jayz is free. It's funny you said that, because that's the exact next story I'm going to. And shout out Mystery Man. Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs lawsuit dismissed by Jane Doe's attorney. This was not a surprise after that interview. That it just seems like this was meant to end this way. Although, if I'm not mistaken, right before this, Jay-Z also dropped his lawsuit against the Busby lawyer. So he dropped his first, if I'm not mistaken, and then this came out. So obviously there was some behind the scenes understanding. But the lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z over the alleged rape of the 13-year-old girl in 2000 has been dismissed by the attorney representing the Jane Doe. A court filing made on Friday in New York. The voluntary dismissal reviewed by Variety was filled by attorney Tony Busby and Curtis, claiming that the Jane Doe, who accused the musician of sexual assault, hereby gives notice that the above captioned action is voluntarily dismissed with prejudice, which means it can't even ever be brought up again. So this is the final time they'll ever be able to hit him with this, because it was dismissed with prejudice. The suit cannot be refiled as it is in its present form. So they have to find somebody else. Additional Rock Nation entertainment company owned by Jay-Z issued a statement signed by Jay-Z, real name Sean Carter, calling this victory. In his statement, Jay-Z also says the issue caused trauma for his wife and children. Let me show y'all what he said. He said, the frivolous and fictitious and appalling allegations have been dismissed. He wrote, the civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale they created was laughable. If not for the seriousness of the claims, I would not wish this experience on anyone. The trauma that my wife, my children, loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed. This 1-800-lawyer gets to file a suit hiding behind Jane Doe, and when they quickly realize that the money grab is going to fail, they get to walk away with no repercussions. The system has failed. The court must protect victims, of course, while with the same ethical responsibility, the courts must protect the innocent from being accused without a shred of evidence. May the truth prevail for all victims and those falsely accused equally. Mr. Man, happy anniversary, Empress. So yeah. I'm sorry. This definitely looks like Jay-Z's lawyer or team hit up Tony Busby and just came to an understanding behind the scenes to drop everything involved, because Jay-Z dropped his lawsuit as well, and then this dropped. So clearly there was a behind the scenes agreement with this. So nothing really comes from this as far as guilty or innocent. Obviously, as far as we know, still innocent, no proof of anything. But it's just with all the things that has followed Jay-Z for the better part of his career, at least within the last 20 years, all the stuff that he's been accused of, the rumors, the speculation. The one time somebody finally throws something on him, it's unfortunate it was this person. And when I say this person, I mean this lawyer, because it was never going anyway from the beginning. We already knew it. In December, within 2 weeks, we knew this case was kind of going nowhere. So if there is anything going on with these behind the scenes entertainers and what they're doing with possible trafficking and the behavior that we know a lot of them are guilty of because it's public, this is it's unfortunate. Virginia says, yeah, Jay-Z sounds like an agreement was made behind the scenes and we expecting nothing less. Exactly. Even how he wrote this up, where he was trying to still be defiant, make sure he called out the lawyer and this 1-800 lawyer. He wasn't as, I don't know if this word I should use, demonstrative. He wasn't as aggressive in his tone with this one as he was with the other. So you could tell the statements were sent to each other. Hey, this is what I'm going to say. Is this okay? Yada, yada, yada. And he put it out. And it's, I will say, and this is allegedly, I wonder what was it that they agreed upon? Because it wasn't just, I'm going to drop mine, you drop yours. Was it money? Was it something else? We may never know. Regina says, Billionaire Club, and we ain't in it. Exactly. And to be honest with you, the fact that this even hit headlines means Jay-Z may not be as much in that Billionaire Club either. Then again, I said when this first happened, people were making the conspiracy, coming up with a conspiracy, possibly the conspiracy theory that this is because it was getting so loud, the rumors were getting so loud around Jay-Z and Beyonce being connected to Diddy, that they purposely allow something to hit the headline so that they can stump on it, quote unquote, beat it in court to kind of quiet that audience. Because it was getting loud. TikTok has been running on Jay-Z for the past, TikTok has been on him tough since the Diddy stuff happened. As a matter of fact, the second the Diddy stuff dropped with Cassie and the video and stuff, people constantly kept bringing up Jay-Z. So it may have been those as above, so below situations where, what's it called, Hegelian dialectic. I can't say the first word right now. I'm saying it wrong. It does seem like he purposely let something hit the headlines that he can stump on so they can quiet that loud talking that was going on. Virginia said, yeah, the powers that be were hoping the energy from the court of public opinion may squash him. Maybe so. He may not have as many friends as he would like to believe, or maybe he don't got them. His music tells me he doesn't have any friends. So, yeah. Speaking of not having friends, or family not even being friends. Thank you. Hegelian dialectic. Yeah. Hegelian dialectic. All right. Quick story with this one. Update. Wendy Williams accuses son of inappropriately using her money without telling me crap. My son is a good person, but at this point, he is a horrible person to me, the talk show host says in TMZ's Saving Wendy doc. TMZ Tammuz. TMZ doing a doc on Wendy just seems, I don't know, because I see TMZ as a bunch of handlers. TMZ somehow is always in position to be everywhere at once. And I understand they have a lot of freelancers who are around the country who simply who are just tracking down every celebrity. And when they do something, they send it to TMZ for some money. I understand that that's what they tell us, that these are all freelancers for the most part. And they just buy what other people record or picture or whatever. But obviously I don't believe that. Mystery Man says, Drake dropped new album yesterday. It's awful. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to that album. But Virginia said, I watched the TMZ video last night and thought, yeah, it's kind of strong. I'm going to show a little clip here. Let me show this.
Wendy Williams is locked in a room in a living facility in New York. That's her. The only way I could interview her was to have a camera in the street because we can't get a camera in. She can't really have any visitors. She cannot go outside. She's been out twice days. She, and I think rightly says, she feels like a prisoner.
Tell me what your life has been like over the past year. What is it like?
Where I am is that the people are old, you know what I'm saying? They are in 90s and they're 80s. I eat lunch and dinner in my bedroom. I don't eat out there with the people that live here just because it's so goddamn deep. There's the room, the closet, and the TV, which was purchased by me through the Guardian person.
Are you allowed to go out?
I'm not allowed to go out. I can call you.
Have an iPad or some form of a computer.
I have not. Listen, I've asked the Guardian years, but an iPad, telephone back. Can I please be able to call, my family? Problem to come in here, you know what I'm saying?
Over the last 30 days, how much time have you been able to spend outside in the fresh air?
In the last 30 days, I went out twice.
The fact that she says she only been out twice in the last 30 days, it does seem like prison, to be quite honest with you. It seems like prison. But also, when did TMZ become the place that people go to gain sympathy from the public? Because TMZ forever has been this gossipy, constantly trying to find dirt on people and bring it to the public. When have they tried to turn their platform to somewhere you go to interview to gain sympathy? This seems strange to me. Comes for the fall. Actually, really are falling for this. All charade. Man looks like a prison for Magneto. It's funny because, and shout out to Travis. We were talking about this, and Travis said he believes that Wendy Williams is making a play to get out of a deal. That she's faking this mental thing that's going on, even though they said she was diagnosed with this. That she's basically in a battle with a contract somewhere, possibly, or the bank, something. Or she's trying to get out of a deal somewhere, and she's using this as a way to do it. So I don't know. That seems more likely because you're not gonna convince me that TMZ is doing this type of content. She actually said may also be a humiliation ritual with her. This is what happens when you go. Yeah. I feel like the humiliation with her was more so going on with her husband. Because, she spent years on her platform talking about people's relationships and who's having affairs and such. And then when it comes out about her, that's kind of a big deal when you're constantly critiquing other people's relationships down this road. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see with Wendy. I'm going to keep a close eye on this because before you kind of felt sad for her because as far as we knew, she was dealing with some serious health problems, and she pretty much was no longer mentally. It's Wendy Williams. She had kind of lost herself. But every time she was on Breakfast Club a few weeks ago, she sounded normal for the most part. At least what we think of her as normal. And then now she's doing this with TMZ. So clearly she's now where they're making her play whatever they got planned for her. It's time to start rolling this out. And the fact they're giving her a whole documentary is just kind of, I don't trust it.
For my teeth, you know what I'm saying? And that would be that.
Wendy, I gotta say, even people who are in prison for murder get an hour a day outside. And you've only been outside in fresh air twice in the last 30 days?
Yes.
Wendy, we are privy to some of the court documents. And your guardian's name is Sabrina Morrissey. And here's what the judge said in this case. The guardian, that's Miss Morrissey, is to permit Wendy as much independence as is practical. This sounds more like a prison than independence.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Listen, this system has failed. This system has failed from top to bottom regarding this guardian and everybody involved with that. The system has failed. I want my freedom back. How about that?
You know, in this situation with somebody being chosen to be a guardian over you and all of your finances and stuff, there's no reason for me to try to prove that you're fit to not be a part of this anymore. I'm getting paid to do it. So there's no incentive for me to be honest. So yeah, this reminds me a lot of the Kanye West, what's his name? The guy that was following him around, the therapist or whatever he was. The guy that was following him around to Dubai and all this stuff a few years ago. It just seems either she's making a rollout for something. She's attempting to get out of some contract or some debt she owes, or it's something else. I don't know. But the part where she brought up her son, because a few years ago when this first became an issue, they said that her son was spending up a lot of her money, and she was basically like, "I know what he's doing. Mind your business. I allow him to do that. I know what he's doing." But now she's saying, you know, he is spending all my money and he's not a good person to me right now. So it's always sad when you have kids that treat their parents in their later years this type of way, you know. But I guess the defense would always be, well, how much of a parent were they to the kids? It's unfortunate, but keep an eye on this to see how this develops in the future. Now let's get to this. Wayans family to be inducted into NAACP Image Awards Hall of Fame. Congratulations to them. And this is in the last year or so, I've also seen them kind of sort of be reintroduced to the public. Obviously, they've been around forever, but they've been doing a lot more interviews. There's been TV shows they've been rolling out. Speaking of Damon and I believe Marlon, Damon and his son, I believe. But they're now going to be, as a family, inducted into the Image Award Hall of Fame. The NAACP said Thursday that the Wayans family, Keenan Ivory Wayans, Damon Wayans Sr., Marlon Wayans, Sean Wayans, and Kim Wayans, and Damon Wayans Jr. Will be inducted into the NCAA Image Awards Hall of Fame. The honor will be bestowed February 22nd at the 56th NAACP Image Awards, which will be live on BET and CBS in Pasadena Civic Auditorium. For decades, the Wayans family has been the forefront of comedy, breaking barriers and opening doors for waves of entertainers. NAACP President and CEO Derek Johnson said their trailblazing work in television, film, and stand-up has transcended pop culture and cemented their legacy in the NAACP Image Award Hall of Fame, recognizing their achievements with the induction and celebration of multi-generational legacy that continues to advance and uplift communities. The Wayans family has set a standard of excellence, and their influence resonates far beyond the stage and screen. Shout out to them. I will say, for the most part, I've never been the biggest supporter of all of them. Some of them have been more funny than others, obviously. But yeah, there's congratulations to them. The same thing I said about Denzel, though, how he's been doing interviews being a lot more personal and what he's spoken about with his drug usage and stuff. I've also seen, with Marlon, for instance, I think his transgender child became a thing, and he recently had a back and forth with Soulja Boy. Social media really has changed celebrity forever. It's pretty much dead. The fact that I see Marlon Wayans doing a roast off with Soulja Boy on X, but yeah. Next up, ooh boy, this caused a lot of discussions and think pieces. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show exposed the limitations of subversive messaging during the Great American Game. Start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. A lot of controversy around it as far as people's opinions. Obviously, the halftime show, people expect somebody to play their biggest hits, songs they recognize, a performance that's just meant to just be pure entertainment at a Super Bowl party, whether you somebody who's getting drunk and eating some wings or you're chilling and vibing with some ladies, you want, certain songs to be played. He took the time to make still played some of his biggest songs, but he definitely took the time to make more of a political / social commentary. Wasn't nothing too deep. It wasn't nothing too, it shouldn't have been controversial, honestly. But it underwhelmed some. I personally liked it. But I wanted to say, I went back and watched a lot of the other Super Bowl halftime shows. So I wanted to see what was typically the theme of most halftime shows. Did they typically have a theme? Or was it just get up there, have some, stage stage dancers and stuff, or what? For the most part, it's just that. Pop singer, middle of the stage, sing your songs. Went back and watch Prince, watch Michael Jackson, and all that stuff. This is definitely the most themed, if you believe all of the breakdowns that you see, that I've seen. Most of the time, it's just doing your hits. I did see The Weeknd did some type of anime opening to his. Obviously, the Dr. Dre one was the very West Coast centered theme, with the whole LA being the ground and them setting up entire sets that looked like stuff that matched the person who's performing at the time. But I want to show some things. I'm going to show this right here. It's from the Super Bowl. Hold on.
No. Too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Someone better squabble up.
Now, the whole Sam Jackson thing, I ain't gonna lie, I liked it. Shout out to Samuel Jackson. I liked but I'm pretty sure y'all have seen, if y'all have paid attention to this, the whole breakdown of it, the game, the American game, it comes out, Samuel Jackson, I'm your Uncle Sam. If you listen to Kendrick's music, back in the past, he's mentioned Uncle Sam in his music as a character in his albums on To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn even. But it's funny because at the beginning of this show, he pretty much lets it be known what the expectation was versus what I'm going to do. So Samuel's character is constantly telling him what he's supposed to do here in this stage versus what Kendrick knows he's going to do. And I want to speak on a little bit of this. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but the first part of this, when he's standing on the GNX vehicle, the black GNX, it's a limited edition vehicle, comes only in black. It is the vehicle that his father drove him around in as a kid. And he has this jacket on with the words Gloria on it, which was the final song on his last album, GNX, Gloria, which represents his pen. So the whole symbolic nature of this right here is him saying, I made it out of the hood, because he's on the hood of the car, with my pen. So the hip-hop brought me to the Super Bowl. And that's kind of what the whole theme of it is, was him using the stage to tell his story and the political statement some people believe he made towards whether you believe he's talking to just America or the right wing. I saw a lot of the right wingers were really, really pissed. I'm not going to mention the fans, the war that's going on with the Drake situation, because that was kind of obvious. He did subvert people's expectations. He didn't play All Right. He didn't play Don't Kill My Vibe. He didn't play Poetic Justice. He didn't play a lot of those songs you expect him to play. But he did play Humble, DNA, Luther. He did play All the Stars. By the way, I didn't know that Humble is double diamond. That is crazy. If I'm not mistaken, it's the only rap song that is double diamond. Humble says, hey, black people, celebrating the newest king of rap, K-Dine. How you doing, Hunter? But yeah, so this whole point is him saying he made it out of the hood through hip-hop and his pen. And I have to also admit, because people kept bringing up the pants. The pants he was wearing, which were Celine jeans. And y'all have seen me bring up, me and Travis have brought up Celine for the last couple of years. Celine is the same entity, or whatever you want to call it, that Beyonce has constantly brought into her music with Renaissance and the horse and wearing the silver during the tour. So the Celine jeans, and also after the Super Bowl, after people mocked those jeans, the sales for those jeans went up in New York at least. I'm saying respect to him playing the music he owns. Exactly. That's another aspect that people began to understand was later, which is he just signed a deal. GNX was his first album on his own label, I guess you call it, PG Lane. So he did play 3 songs from that album, but he focused more on that and on songs that he owns 80 to 90% of. But the first piece I showed was him standing in the middle of the American flag, which is black men dressed in red, white, and blue, forming the American flag with their bodies, him standing in the middle of it. Obviously, that represents Black America. And then he has another point where it's split. I think that's when he started doing DNA or Humble. I think it was Humble. It's split. And then before that, he said the culture is divided. But I don't think he was talking about America. I believe he was talking about Black America when he said the culture is divided. But yeah, he went on through all this. One of the breakdowns that stuck with me the most was when he went by the light poles and he had those young black dudes all dressed in white long shirts, and he was doing the song "Man of the Garden." And after he performed a couple bars of this song, Samuel Jackson walks up and says, "Oh, you with your homeboys, the old culture cheat code." And he says, "Scorekeeper, deduct 1 life." And then he goes and does Peekaboo. When he did that, people are saying that he's basically saying in his whacked out murals, he said, I lost a lot of friends, 16 to be specific. If you count those men behind him, that's 10. And if you count the light poles that have 1 person on each one, that's 16. So apparently, Man of the Garden now, the theory is that song, Man of the Garden, is a graveyard, which is crazy. Virginia says, A+ for art sparking conversations and expanding thinking. A+, there's a lot of folks could decode from this performance, art or not. Exactly. Like I said, it's like every performance. Let's be honest. People been saying the Super Bowl halftime show has been boring forever. So when I saw those reactions, especially from certain demographics, I didn't care. It didn't really make any difference. They said Rihanna's halftime was boring. They said the only halftime show I saw constant reviews for, good reviews for, was Dr. Dre when he brought out Mary J. Blige and 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg and Kendrick and Eminem. And I think the Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars show. The Weeknd one gets received well too, but most of the time people walk away saying it wasn't good. And I saw people complaining about this, saying, man, it's going to be a white person that come do it next year. And then you saw the white people saying, oh, we need the Super Bowl halftime show to go back to its roots. And it's like, I think y'all forgot the first person to do the halftime show was Michael Jackson. So the roots is black. So it's back to its roots now. But anyway, so yeah, congratulations on the Super Bowl halftime show. I enjoyed it. I like the breakdowns. I like the symbolism that he put in there. I understand, though, if you were somebody who was just looking for the hits, you were just looking for songs that you can just, jam to in your living room and you wanted to sing along. You didn't want to have to, But I will say probably Kendrick's performance will probably be one of those Super Bowl halftime shows that people will go back to and watch to see the symbolism more. I think it's at like 50, 60 million already in 4, or however many days it's been. Maybe last Sunday. So yeah. So congratulations to him. I don't like people how you want it, bruh. Once again, you have to separate there was an active beef going on a few months ago. You have to separate those people from the discussion. But I agree, the amount of black people that were saying this is not, white people don't care about this, why are you doing this? It's like, bruh, part of hip hop is rebellion. You're supposed to go into areas that's a quote unquote that you're not supposed to be in, quote unquote, and you're supposed to make it yours. If you went up there and did what everybody else do and just play the songs you expect them to play, and because when it comes to performance, when he plays the songs y'all want, he's always been great to me. He's one of the best rap performers in the world. There's only a few others that have the same performance level that he has. Even if I don't really like, what's his name, Tyler the Creator's music, performances is very energetic. Kanye West performances, even Travis Scott has a lot going on. But yeah, he's one of the best performers, but he decided to go this route. Shout out to him for standing on doing what he wanted to do once again, setting his own pathway. I really appreciate what he did, but it's understandable if you were looking for something else and to you were underwhelmed. That's fine too. Virginia says the Western mind is so used to chatter, not realizing the importance of symbolism and its impact on subconscious mind that the Americans tend to ignore, downplay. Facts. And also, that's what hip hop has always been. Hip hop is one of the more intellectual, it can be, let me say it like this, because I understand there's some hip hop out there that's just junk. But for the most part, we talk about the highest level, hip hop is one of the most intellectual art forms. It requires you to have some level of thinking ability. You have to be able to think at the highest level to really appreciate what it is. When you start getting to the club songs and just the mainstream trendy songs, that's the lowest level of the music. At the highest level, you can listen to a song and years later have a eureka moment and just, oh, this is just amazing. I still go back to certain albums from Kendrick, like To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City. Damn, even those concept albums that even Mr. Round the Big Steppers, these are concept albums that have a point. They're driving home a point. Every song is purposeful. GNX in his own. A lot of artists used to do that, but concept albums in general have kind of died out, unfortunately. Mark going to say Living Colors, Super Bowl halftime roots. Mark going to say so it's still black no matter what. Exactly. I'm says and some light skinned chick with locks have been the worst reviews. I'm all serious. It's clear that he's chosen to, try to get his coins up by picking a side in this and trying to drive his viewership up. So shout out to him, I guess. I think the UK African chick, I think I saw that video going around of her talking about it. I didn't listen to it. No offense. I'm not listening to a person who's not even in the country. No offense. But I will say, somehow, after the Super Bowl halftime show, man, oh man, that flag, that American flag is causing some rifts. People who didn't want Kendrick or even Beyonce loud with the Cowboy Carter album, they don't want Black Americans celebrating that flag. They're saying, hey, if you celebrate that flag and claim it, you're going to have to take on the blood that comes with it. It's like, well, I can't help where I'm from and not expecting someone to have some level of pride. Because when I say American, we all know what American we're talking about. So it is what it is. But it led to people like, I think Castanot, he was saying how they was pumping sound into the stadium because it wasn't loud because nobody was cheering or whatever. Then people started pumping a bunch of videos out from in the stadium where they were celebrating the music. And now people started jumping on his ass because they brought up that old video of him saying this right here. Let me show this.
Are not cultured at all. Stop dick riding. I don't want to hear, when I'm asking general questions, I'm not asking y'all niggas. Stop dick riding. Y'all niggas is black. You're black. You're just black.
Just be yourself and hit them with hey. Also, I just found the Anarchy hoodie yesterday. Can't wait. Finna resubscribe in a little W female viewer. Big 2 months December 9th.
Thank you so much. Bro, you're just fully American. You're African American, bro. That's it. How was that see you in 30? That wasn't an insult. That was strictly, you're black. You're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not African. You're not, word. You're not Ghanaian. You're not Dominican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Cuban. You are American.
I farted so loud.
So you started with, you don't have coaches. People start getting on them. And somebody said this. They said, Black American identity largely comes second to its own influence, predominantly influenced by the Black Afro-Caribbean cultures that come before it. It holds little independent culture. Let's calm down now. Oh, man, they still doing this. Honorable says, those I hate the flag people are stupid. Seeing how many people that think that like that have been hiding amongst us is scary. Yeah, I'm not surprised because within our culture, we've always kind of pushed the idea that we're black, we're not American, though. We kind of went away from trying to identify with the country as a whole. But as times have changed and politics are shifting, you are seeing people saying, well, we were here longer than most people in this country. It's ours. Forget not wanting to be associated with the sick stuff that they did. Let's claim what is ours. Now I want to show this video here. Shout out to Mark Gordon. He sent me this right here. I want to show this.
Exports were creating conditions for U.S. centricity that absolutely defined the generation's understanding of what it means to be black. So for me, when I started doing my research into black history, I started off with America. Despite being British, I found myself looking towards America more to develop my understanding of black consciousness and the black identity.
When she said that, she just said that she's British, and she said when she started looking up her black identity, it kept pointing her to America when you talk about black consciousness. I remember a few years ago, me and Travis were looking up, we were trying to find, it was Black History Month in the UK, which I think is in August, October, one of those months. So during that month, we was looking up videos of British Black history or Black British history, whatever you want to call it. We kept trying to find them, videos of them talking about their, their great things, their great Black power movers. And every time we would look up a video, and this is not to be, it is what it is, they kept mentioning Black Americans. Like, even the reason why they have the holiday, for obviously, is because Black Americans started Black History Week, which turned into Black History Month at some point. So when we looked up them telling us about their history in the UK or Britain, they kept pointing to America themselves. So it just didn't go anywhere. I read he was upset he couldn't get into Kendrick's suite at the game. Yeah, I saw that too. Then he responded and said that he had his own suite, but then responded and said that he was trying to get in Kendrick's suite, and he just said, nah, like that. And so I don't know. I would hope he wouldn't be that. He's like 23, 24, so I wouldn't be surprised. I would hope he wouldn't be that, malicious to try and change the narrative around somebody's Super Bowl performance because you got offended that they didn't let you come in their room. So it is what it is. Virginia said, is that an immigrant talking reckless? I watched a weird-ass African man claiming Black Americans stole their resources, i.e. American Ninja. It's October, all right. Anima says, there is no British Black history. Those are immigrants that got there during the Windrush. Well, I've heard people in Britain say we're not Black British. We are whatever African country we're from or wherever we're Caribbean. There's no Black history in Britain. It's Caribbean or African history. But then you watch TV shows from over there, and I think it's, what's that movie? What's that show? It's a TV show over there. I can't think of the name of it. Where there's this divide in the UK between the Jamaicans and the Africans. They don't get along. Their relationship is the same as Black Americans and immigrants here. So the Jamaicans and Africans don't get along in the UK because the Africans say that the Jamaicans are considered the cool kids. Like, you have Africans that in the UK that'll lie and say they're Jamaican because it makes them quote unquote cooler. They consider them criminals and yada yada yada. The same narrative they put on Black Americans here. Uncle says salute to the fan. What up, Uncle? Hit the like button. Yeah, please, please. All right, let me finish playing this video.
Consciousness and Black identity. African American cultural norms are being referred to was with unrelenting consistency, so much so that Black America became a cornerstone of my identity as a Black Briton. Representation played a huge part as to why British people felt so connected. With Black sitcoms and hip-hop constantly being heard in the radio, British people were able to see themselves in a position that they've never seen themselves before. Similar to Jeffrey Barcher, Carla states that our parents used the language of Black power for their own ends and even set up their own Black Panther parties. We watched The Cosby Show and A Different World and both delighted in and envied HBCU.
Well, another thing too I don't like is I hear from a lot of people that'll say that the reason why these people from other countries know so much about Black Americans is because they were force fed our content, whether it be movies or entertainment in general. And I said, well, you could say that in the 60s, 70s, maybe 80s and 90s. But we're now in an era where you don't need to see Black American content. You can literally block it off everything. You don't have to never watch it. You have to listen to it. You have your own genres of music now. You have your own entertainment, your own movie industries. Now you can't use that excuse anymore. Honorable says West Africans have a problem with Black natives and wherever they go. Burna Boy is on record claiming he pretended to be Jamaican because he hated being Nigerian. He sure did say that. Also, let me say this. Which one is it? Is it what's her name? Haley or Chloe? Whatever one it is, the twins, whichever one that's been running around getting video with him, bruh, they don't know how to fake relationships no more, do they? Like when we were coming up and somebody was planning on making some music together, we thought they would paint the narrative and they would do it so well. We would think they would possibly were dating, which we know sometimes there probably was something going on. But now it just looks, yeah, like stop, bro. I saw somebody here that said Black American culture is the most copied on the planet. Virginia says, how honorable, it's just making me want to remember that delusional African dude was Nigerian. Yeah. This person says, I'm sure if there was no internet, Black Americans would have thought they were the only Blacks in the world. And I want to show this right here. Another clip I got from Mark Gordon. Let me show this.
I don't identify myself as a Black person anymore. I identify myself as a Jamaican person.
I've always identified as a Grenadier.
American one, and I'm not Black. Everybody was shocked at that statement. Like, you're not Black? What are you then? Like, I'm a person. What is Black? So what are you? Yellow, like lemonish green? What is that?
With.
It's difficult because I don't identify as being Black.
Honorable says, I hate that girl so much. I feel like she personally attacking me with that BS relationship. Why she embarrassing us like that? Uncle said Travis ain't coming back. No, he is, man. The sad face got me. I'm sorry. Nah, he's coming back, bro. Honorable says, Regina says, always someone from West Africa. Hold on.
Then, like, I'm a person. What is Black? So what are you? Yellow, like lemonish green? What is that?
With.
It's difficult because I don't identify as being Black. Also, like, I was...
I'm not Black, I'm African.
They're not Black?
No. It's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? I came in a plane, they came in chains. I'm passenger in their cargo.
And I was 17 to go to college. So I will start off with the fact that I never really saw myself as a Black person growing up. I still don't, of course.
So y'all get the point. Hey man, the internet, don't forget, the digital footprint is forever. It's forever. When you say things and now y'all trying to change the narrative about what it was, yeah. Mark says, this is why I have a problem with Essence Magazine trying to make our history Caribbean and or African. I'm going to get to that later. I'm going to talk about that too. We might have to have a real conversation about Nolans, man. Honorable says, they think they sound so intelligent making these statements, divided idiots. Yeah. Yeah. And now that the divide is mutual now. I'm trying to make sure this loads because for whatever reason, I know why this ain't loading. It got something to do with the tiny hats. Hold on. All right, there we go. No, you ain't getting away. Virginia says it's not only annoying but fascinating to realize they're not like us. All skinfolk and kinfolk F them. Yeah. All right. Let me know if it starts skipping, y'all. All right. Oh, by the way, since I didn't get to earlier, since we're talking about foreigners, not like us, Drake dropped his album. And let me say this. I try to be, I try not to be biased when it comes to music. Either I like it or I don't. Historically, I haven't really been into Drake's music because he kind of started sounding the same. And I've always been a person that said, the man can't sing. Like, he can do melodies, he can do a little harmony or whatever, but he can't sing. But people allow him to do full-blown R&B songs, and he's not a singer. I think that's disrespectful to R&B. I've always said that he's somebody who hurt R&B because now you got dudes that can't sing thinking they can do R&B. But I can't just blame him. We see Future out here. Shout out to Future if you like him, but he can't sing, but he quote unquote makes R&B music. But anyway, I wasn't even gonna listen to it. I wasn't in a run to listen to it. And I saw his fans talking about it, like good for them, I guess. And they kept talking about one song in particular. They kept talking about "Give Me a Hug." The song "Give Me a Hug." Oh, it's fire. It's Drake. If you don't like this song, you just hating. This song is fire. This is Drake. This is best Drake. This is rapping Drake. If this is telling us what's coming with his rap album, it's gonna be fire this summer. And so earlier today, I listened to it. And I just thought, man, it's really over. Lil Wayne had a big line back in the day on one of his songs with Drake where he said, and we gonna be all right if we put Drake on every hook. And I realized that Drake can't do hooks no more. Drake doesn't do good melodies no more. He just seemed to be just throwing stuff in. Maybe it's just me. I'm not a Drake music hater, but I'm not the biggest stan. I'm kind of indifferent. I like what I like, don't like what I don't. But I do feel like it's not the same. Normally on a Drake album, there's at least one song that will be liked by everybody. You'll like at least one. But the fact that I kept seeing them talk about that "Give Me a Hug" song, and then I listened to it, and I said, "Oh, it might be, it might be really over because that ain't wow." But then it says, they're like the new pale folks in their separatism mentality. She also said, to me, Drake was corny when my niece introduced me to him. And now, new music, nothing to see here. What up, Kiefer? Virginia said, that's why he is suing. He knows it's over too. Yeah, we'll see though. You know, hopefully, you know, his fans enjoy the music or whatever. I will say this. Joe Budden had a line that's going around now where he said, we want a party album, but you keep stealing all the party albums and then put them on your party album. And the fact that he went and got Party Next Door for this album, and most of the songs is Drake, and people are pretty much just shitting on all the Party Next Door songs, it's like, man, yeah, it's crazy. Anonymous says, we got to check Drake's stats, him stealing from African American versus Black Canadians, P&D in it. Yeah, man. It was for Valentine's Day, but it didn't sound like it was really a Valentine's Day album, R&B. It was a lot of rapping. It seemed like it was more towards men. I see people saying that he made an R&B album for men. But, shout out to them, I guess. It ain't really for me. Anyway, let's get to this. Speaking of his baby daddy, as Kanye West called him, Lyor Cohen writes open letter to Kanye West. You should have chosen a path that sows. You've chosen a path that sows discord. So Lyor Cohen, the big dog in the music industry, the CEO of Def Jam, been running things for a long time. Very upfront with where he stands on a lot of stuff. YouTube global music head of music, Lyor Cohen, who worked closely with Kanye West when he was the CEO of Def Jam Recordings. I forgot he is the music head at YouTube now. He is the reason YouTube's algorithm and monetary payments work the way they work. If you look at YouTube now and the people who got these big channels and make money off of YouTube and stuff, it now works like the music industry. Before, when you see these big YouTubers with millions of subscribers and they get 5 million views in 2 days or whatever, they would put out 2-3 videos a month because they didn't need to put out a bunch of content. They've cut down on it so much now that you see those same people putting out 10 videos a month now. So now the music industry wants you to put out more music for less money. So if I was paying you $100,000, now I want you to, for one album, now I want you to do 3 albums for that same $100,000. That's now what YouTube is. We want you to up your production rate so we get more views on the platform, and we're gonna pay you the same amount of money or less. Just wicked. But you know, he addressed the superstar artist who was alienated much of the world in his hateful anti-Semitic comments. In his letter, Cohen pleads West to be more sensitive to the pain you world inflict on Jewish communities, all those who stand against hate. Let me just read exactly what he wrote. Let me just go down to it. This is what Lyor Cohen wrote to Kanye West. Dear Kanye, I am deeply disappointed your recent he was interviewing the Prager guy, and it says the reason why Jewish people are successful in their as a community is because they don't consider themselves victims as blacks do. And I said, wait, what? When everybody said, you mean the same people who have a whole slogan they have attached to themselves, which is never forget? Okay. You have a lot of power. Imagine complimenting someone and they say you're being anti-Semitic. Honorable says, I never got his popularity, crying about being rich and famous and all the young women who don't want him. I don't get it. Yeah, Drake is, to me, Drake's popularity is based off high school melodramatic type soap opera stuff, high school and college. You know, the whole, you didn't want me then, but now you want me now. Rubbing into the girl face when you were able to quote unquote glow up or whatever. Yeah, it's definitely one of those. And I never use this term. I never really bought into this, but it's definitely a lot of that. It's definitely a lot of that woman hate type thing. It's not hate women, but have a lot of vitriol to them for not liking you when they were in 9th grade. And now you 25, 28 years old and still hold resentment to somebody turning you down, not able to deal with rejection. Yeah. Anyway, Lyor, the scripts write themselves. Yeah, let me finish. He said, with anti-Semitism on the rise, as always, right? Your voice and influence carry a significant responsibility. I urge you to be more sensitive to the path your words inflict on Jewish communities and all those who stand against hate. Your talent and reach could be used to heal and inspire, to bridge divides and promote understanding instead of you choosing the path to sow discord and perpetuate harmful stereotypes. And look at this. Regina always brings this part right here up. The Jewish and Black experience share a rich history of collaboration and mutual support. Particularly in the music industry, for the early days of jazz and blues to the groundbreaking work of Motown and beyond, our communities have enriched each other through music and culture. No, the whole entire community have benefited on one side, and on the other side, you give one person crumbs that might help their children, but it definitely don't help the entire community. Our communities have enriched each other through music and culture. I urge you to reflect on the shared legacy and use your platform to build upon the love and understanding that have always existed between our communities. Sincerely, Lyor. Fuck you. Honorable said, this is the victim mentality they claim they don't have. Exactly. Oh, what up, Dre? What's good? So he said all this, and he's already seen as the devil. Nobody cares when Lyor come out and say something. You know, that's the damn devil. It's the damn devil. Now let me show this here, because somebody came out and made some points, as they always do when he speaks, because it's understood how wicked he is. So Kanye came out and responded, and Kanye, it's just unfortunate that he's so all over the place sometimes, because when he makes sense, he hits it out the park when he makes sense. It's unfortunate that he goes off and does other things to garner attention. Clout chase sometimes. This is what Kanye had to say to Lyor about him saying that he's sowing discord between the communities. Kanye said, because he called him Kanye. Obviously, Kanye has changed his name to Ye. Legally, that is his name, Ye. It's the same thing with Muhammad Ali. Don't call me Cassius Clay. My name is Muhammad Ali. The same thing with Mos Def. My name is Yasin Bey. Don't call me Mos Def. But Ye says, Lee, or let me call you by your incorrect name also. He called him Lee. He said, you and your whole industry have promoted and get paid off songs that black people glorify killing each other. But my one shirt is the worst thing ever. All of you are like girls who who take accountability. It's the double standard. Then you threaten and extort people around me. People are so used to your mob, and to think when Tony Birch came to the door with the towel on, I didn't smash because I looked at you like as a friend. You start by apologizing and taking accountability for the massive promotion of Black Death that you got paid off of for years, and you too broke to speak. To me in first place. And you know what Irv said to you before he passed, and since he's not here, I'll say it: suck my dick. He spoke facts right there. And funny enough, this has been brought to Lyor Cohen's face before on the Breakfast Club. I'm gonna show the video. Mark Gordon says that they left out a lot of history, like fighting for the Confederacy and making birth of a nation. Yeah, and paying for the boats that allegedly brought the slaves over here, you know. And by the way, some of them being funding on both sides of the Holocaust, but we're not gonna get into all that. Dre says, oh yeah, I remember this. Honorable says, Jews and blacks share a rich history. Bitch, where? The history is between black men in the 50s, 60s. We have nothing to do with that. Funny how it's the same with the Latinx community too. Here, Honorable go come. Here, go kicking dirt. Go ahead, kick some dirt up. Now let me play this video right here.
Now they seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup, and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying
I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
See, you know the thing about them too is I like the fact that these types stand on what they say. I don't like the whining anti-Semitic types. If you know you the big dog and you know you just stand on it. He pretty much said, I don't care, I gotta pay people, I'm making money. Hey, if they didn't make the music, I wouldn't be able to sell it. He ain't got nothing to do with me. Fix your community. Stand on it. I don't mind it. When people tell you who they are, listen. Honorable says didn't know they made Birth of a Nation. Mark telling. What up, Bishop? He said, what y'all think about Abraham? Hold on. They're calling me. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. Oh, Bishop, what do you think about Abraham? Oh, hold on. Ain't that the dude? Hold on, let me look his name up. Oh, that's the dude who didn't he say he wasn't gonna take no money and then he took some money, Bishop? He was supposed to get rid of the funding that was coming his way from other governments, and he ended up taking the money. But shout out to him though. I think we talked about him a couple weeks ago. All right. Brady says, peace. Ye is a national treasure. George Bush, Lyor doesn't care about black people. Yeah. It's just unfortunate when he goes left on certain things when he's just trying to rile people up emotionally. You know, people emotional. Honorable says, I hate this clip. I don't get putting the blame on these issues on him when black adults are closer to the young artist than Lyor. We can't forget that thinking it's best to keep the talent high, i.e. Wayne. Exactly. That's why I just said, he pretty much said, ain't my business. If you stop making the music, I wouldn't be able to promote it. You know, people says, what a piece of shit. They don't allow others to influence their community negatively in the way they try to do to ours. Well, within their culture and religion, they are allowed to treat other people badly. And to be honest with you, anybody should be willing to not allow things within their culture that they're willing to do to somebody else. I remember back in the day, even amongst the thieves and the criminals, it was understood, hey, I'm going to rob them. I won't rob my own. When I want to do some B&Es or whatever, I'm going to go to the other neighborhood over there, because why would I steal from my own? You know, I'm not saying that's completely righteous, but that used to be the thinking amongst every group. When you talk about the positive, if I'm in a position of power at some corporation or whatever, and I have an option to hire this group or that group, or I get a direct funding to this place or that place, I'm going to choose the one that benefit my community more than the other. So, you know, he's doing what's best for him and his immediate family, and making sure that those in power are more like him. Honorable says, is Kanye unnatural obsession with Drake part of him seeking white acceptance? No, I think with Drake, Kanye respects influence and marketability. Because Drake is such a big artist, Kanye sees him as a quote unquote equal. Yeah, Kanye is about being the biggest artist. He's about being the best, and because Drake was able to create such a popular name for himself, I think Kanye just respects his process. Keeper said that's why the way they were drove out of every country. Hey, but you're not allowed to point that out. It's immediately you're called anti-Semitic for pointing out, hey man, we're not just talking about in one country. We're not just talking about in one set period in time. We're talking about historically, like centuries. It's like the same thing keeps happening. Certain things get introduced by a particular group. People backlash against it and say, get them out of here. But, you know. Honorable says, we can't have that understanding because we can't rob the black individual an opportunity to try and change their life. Let me move on. And speaking of blackmail, because as Kanye brought up the blackmail, then this right here was posted by a Jewish man. Kevin Blatt says, hey, Ye, remember that sex tape I helped take off the market for you in 2012 with the hooker in Vegas? Yeah, the Jew. Didn't forget about that whole performance of a small, you had high on MDMA. Hey, why don't you go F your favorite person in the world, yourself? Now, it's funny because Kanye responded to this, and he said, that was a fun night. Can't wait to see it again. You know, somebody said, a Jewish fixer who spills all your dirt if you criticize Israel unless you give him more money. It's called blackmail, which is why these people are always, like they act as like puppet masters around you. They make sure they're always near you. It's like every time you see a black person gain any level of prominence, fame, success, it's just always one of them connected to it. It's just they always get their claws in early. You know, it is what it is. Speaking of people trying to get their claws in, what is going on with Luigi? John Leguizamo, whatever his name is, for the last couple of months, he's been trying to tie everything to how Mexicans or Latinos in America helped build this country. They built the railroads. They were getting lynched, according to him. You know, now he's saying that the Crip walk comes from Mexicans, and the black people just made it, you know, national and put some funk on it. The Crip, they're trying to take the Crip walk now. But then it says those people are nasty in their spit. They always hurling at folks. They're the real goyim. Facts. Otto says they go around the world telling everyone stop thinking you're a victim for what actually happened to them so that they can position themselves as the sole ultimate global victim. Sick game. Well, they also subvert that by being the quote unquote most powerful, at least publicly what they show, the names and what positions they have. So they kind of play this whole double side thing. It's like how they play this whole double minority or, you know, whatever that type of stuff is. They try to play the minority also being play the other side of it. So they create the problem and then tell you how to fix it. Let me show this right quick. He said Crip Walk. The Crip Walk comes from Mexicans. Black people made it funkier and national. So Chicano is what the word he used, Chicano. Even though Chicano comes from them copying Black Americans. But they don't even matter because people, it's sad. It's sad. People had to go back and show where the Crip Walk comes from. Let me show this right here. Show some of this at least.
Mr. Norman.
And you know, the Crip Walk, the cripple, but you know. That's how you got to prove your history. Honorable says definitely double minority sounds about right, while also identifies white race in America. Well, yeah, you know, they do what's best for theirs, I guess. So you got to prove that his Crip Walk came from blacks, and then I want to show him say something else. I'm wondering what he's trying to get inroads for. Mark said everyone trying to laugh from a proof we are the people. Learn something new on the stuff that, you know, the start of, you go, damn. So that, it gets to a point where you do start to think, all right, maybe we do have a little bit of a a main character syndrome somewhat. But then more and more action, you go, hey, at some point, we got to call what it is. Almost says because they lying as Johnny, I know about the Henry Crip. Yeah, we know about it now. He made us know about it because he tried to take it. But let me show this right here too. And it's funny because I'm not crazy. Most of these type of talks only popped up, not the hip hop talk, because they've been trying to claim hip hop for decades. But this type of talk only started in 2015, 2016. Maybe not even then. I'll say it really started in like 2019, 2020. No, 2015, 2016, definitely. That's when this talk really started, when Kamala Harris ran for office and Yvette and Tone got on her ass and started talking about ADOS, she's not Black American, yada, yada, yada. Then they had to find out Shirley Chisholm, she was not Black American either, and she said some things, yada, yada. That's when these type of talks started coming out, where people started trying to claim things as their own. So let me play this.
So now with the new Florida law that police officers can arrest anyone who they think is an undocumented immigrant, they're not targeting criminals who are undocumented. They are just attacking Native Americans, indigenous Latinos who profile to them as undocumented. So
when the hell did it start going after Native Americans? But then it says being a ninja at your core, but can't acknowledge it because you also want to be white, so you lash out and project. This is a dark planet, Alpha and Omega. Says they never gain. It's never gain main character syndrome. They need us, but also don't want us to know our true value and influence.
Oh, it's not really. It was never really about getting criminals. I was just about getting Latin immigrants who are undocumented out of the country.
Well, yeah, that is a crime.
And now they're going to send them to Guantanamo Bay, which will be our first concentration camp.
What?
Set up by America. The Fourth Reich is taking over, y'all. We got to stand up, fight against this, speak out. Even if you voted for Trump and now you regret your vote, this is the time to act out and make up for your transgression.
Yes, maybe he's trying to get into politics and become a... What is he talking about? To be honest with you, they seem to be really trying to get rid of the... from what I've seen, they really going after the Haitians. That's who they really are. The Venezuelans and stuff, the gangs and stuff. But the Haitians are catching a lot of this too. Virginia's shutting it. Oh man. All right. Speaking of taking stuff back, I want to play something for y'all too. Honorable says attacking the 14th Amendment to be solely truthful intent is going to after the indigenous because they're sovereign nations. Well, they already have something else that was signed later that said that Native Americans were allowed to be dual citizens. Brilliant said that porn stash is diabolical. Yeah. I'm going to play a little bit of this because I saw this and I seen people trying to say that black people are trying to reclaim all these musical genres. So I'm going to play a little bit of this. But I don't know. This sounds like late 90s, early 2000s to me.
I should have known it from the start you would deceive me. And now I'm left alone and lost inside my head.
I'm not gonna play that. Honorable said, I think the 14 is the foundation for that as well. Well, there's some battles that's gonna come from that. We'll see. We talked about it last week with a Native American, or the week before last, I can't remember, with a Native American woman who was making the same argument that this was going to affect Native Americans, but I don't think so. Which is the Lord have Murphy. The voice inflection is just crazy to me. I understand you're trying to make that sound. I will say a lot of the younger under 20 doing a lot of quote unquote what's considered retro now, which is crazy. They're trying to do a lot of retro sounds, a lot of those older 2000 sounds. Seem to like it. We'll see though. We've seen it last week with the country artists. A lot of these black country artists are coming out trying to do that sound too. Speaking of that, I wonder if could we see? I'm not gonna give her all the credit, but Beyonce does the country album. There's a little bit of bump in, black people listen to some country. I won't say she's the reason why, but I wonder if she does that rock and roll album, next album, what would that do? We'll see. Anyway, this story here, I think this is a satirical bill. I don't think this is meant to be something that actually gets through. I think it's meant to be satirical, but we'll see. This right here. Men face $1,000 fine if they discharge semen under new bill. A bill proposed into Ohio State House will make male ejaculation without intent to have a baby a finable offense of up to $10,000. I think it's meant to be some type of opposing to the stuff they're doing with abortion, obviously with women. The bill has been proposed by state representatives Anita Samani and Tristan Rader, who wrote to point out that they see it as absurdity of rules that control women's bodies but do not control men's. It has been formally introduced to the House floor. It hasn't not been formally introduced to the House floor yet. Per Samani and Rader, men would face a $1,000 first offense, $5,000 second offense, and $10,000 subsequent offense fine to discharge semen or genetic material without intent to fertilize an embryo. Wayans says, do you listen to Beyonce not before, during, or after you take a shot? Look, man, why can't I bring up one of the biggest artists? Like, come on, don't do that. Honorable says, I haven't listened to nothing but Spaghetti from Cowboy Carter, which country artists got songs like that. Drop the names, please. I don't listen to enough country music for that. But bro, you keep trying to play my Beyonce shit. Look, man, I like some of the music, dog. But anyway, so basically this bill is trying to make it, it's not real, obviously. It's not something they expect to get through. But they trying to push this whole, make it illegal to masturbate pretty much, right? Wouldn't that be the whole point of it? This is the second conception begins at erection law to be brought up in Republican-led state house chambers after Mississippi State Senator Bradford Blackman brought a similar bill to the state Senate in January. Funny enough, they're doing this to be funny and try to make a point. But believe me, based off the numbers and the birth rate, they're not completely, they wouldn't be completely against this, people. They would love it if they could force men to get women pregnant. The same way they're trying to make women not abort their kids and not, you'd be able to use certain things to not get pregnant. They want pregnancy. This ain't really going against their agenda as much as you think it is. This is not really going against what they want. I don't know what y'all thought. But another story, speaking of that, having babies, teacher accused of having a child with student released from New Jersey jail as case proceeds. I don't said Beyonce, I'm that girl, and heated in the shower on repeat. Now let me play this video here. Keep in mind, this young boy is 13 and this woman is 26. Do I have the entire link? Yeah, I got it right here. All right. Let me just play this.
Yeah, Kelly for the state.
Your Honor, good morning. Police court, John Thomas, for Lyor Cohen.
Now, I'm not going to show the whole video. They did it in court, going through her situation. Now, from what I've seen, this is what I've seen. And this happens a lot. This is an epidemic going on right now in schools that for the last 10 plus years, maybe even 20 years, that's not getting talked about more, which is these women laying up with these, really molesting these young boys and getting pregnant. This is happening a lot in America. Every damn month, every other week, it's a story going on around the country. People just kind of ignore it like it's not happening, but it is what it is. I've never seen them show the quote unquote victim, as in a young boy. It's always, you don't even know their name. All you know is their name. That's it. This is the first time I've seen them show a picture. Now, they blurred his face, but they made sure to show him on a beach with his shirt off. Why are you showing me a 13-year-old boy with his shirt off on a beach? Ooh, it seems like you're implying something about him. This is where we get into the sexualization of young black boys. Arnold says, sad. Breen says, was she teaching long division? That's not funny. That's not funny. What up? See, you were posting a picture of him shirtless. They're sexualizing him still. Yeah. That's what I was just saying. Yeah, they're still doing it. What up, King of Judah? They love them young niggas. Anima said, letting black kids sleep at a teacher's house is crazy. Woman predator and needs to be thrown under jail. Exactly. 13 years old, Kiefer. Yep. Yeah, this is weird now that you mention it. Anima says he's 19 now. I think that is a current photo. Are you sure it's a current photo? Even if it is, still, why are you posting him? It don't make sense. I've never seen, only time I've seen that become a bigger deal was when the young Asian kid back in the day started that relationship with the white teacher, and then he came out and said he's in love, and then she went to prison and got out, and they stayed together, and then they recently divorced, I think. She was like 25 something years older than him or whatever. Maybe she wasn't that much older, but she was older than him. That's the only time we've seen the victim, quote unquote. This you don't see this often. Breen says white men don't want white women; they want black men, young boys, and Asian women. I had a theory that I believe the reason why a lot of these relationships happen between these teachers, which is 90% of the time white, and these students, which is of all races, is because most of these women be married. Most of these teachers be married. I believe it has something to do with these men are pedos and the women are pedos, and the man will push a relationship with her and a young boy in order to try and groom him to want to do something with the man. I've always said, when you see these stories come out and a woman gets exposed to having this relationship with these young boys and she's married and the husband's going to court with her and he's making sure he's by her side and all the other stuff, I'm like, huh. Now, as a young boy at 13, 14 years old, and you're doing something with a teacher, and then she tried to introduce her husband into it, I can imagine that'll be a very stressful, strange situation. So as a young boy, you'll never mention that this man tried to do something. So you'll just keep it to the woman, get quiet, and move on. I believe that there's a lot of that going on in these situations. Matter of fact, we saw it a few years ago, or last year, maybe the year before, when the teacher, and this was nasty, so I'm sorry for bringing this up again, the teacher used her husband's genetics and cupcakes and fed it to kids. So, hold on, y'all, hold on. All right, I'm back. Eric says, I imagine if the genders were flipped, they would never post a girl victim like this. Never. Keep it yuck. Amber says, Mary Kay and Billy from Seattle, yeah. Straight to jail. Facts. And our hardly any women, just teenage boys and still sick desire for fetish black men. Honorable says, well, they're still together. They resolved this case quick. Father just reported it in December 2024. Brain says that's a white woman go for black boys and men. Rejection. Maybe so. All right, I want to read this now. It says, new teenager who got his teacher pregnant when he was 13 claims he was the one who initiated the relationship and is calling for her charges to be. New Jersey teacher Lyor Cohen was arrested for raping a male child for years, alleging starting around the time the boy was 11. Good guy. The relationship began when Cohen was about 26 years old and allegedly went on for at least 4 years. They need to drop all charges. I wasn't groomed or raped or manipulated by her. She never initiated anything. I started everything, he said to the Daily Mail. This stuff is so deep that the world has no idea what she has done for my family. I love her with all my heart. She was there for me and my family. Over the years, the parents of the victim said the family became friends with the Cohen, which ultimately led to them even allowing their boys and daughters to stay at her home at times. The children eventually stayed with Cohen permanently. Reports. The victim's sister said her brother was about 11 years old when he started sleeping in the same bed as Cohen. The teacher would reportedly go into the bathroom while the victim was showering, lock the door, and rape him while the other siblings slept. He is currently awaiting trial and faces 10 years in prison. Sad. Sad. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Kiefer says that she should have reported him if that's the case. Yeah, but they were young, I guess, when she didn't quite understand what was going on. And it does seem like the teacher used the kid's circumstances to kind of groom the young boy who thought, kind of mixed up her helping the family with love, I guess, or whatever. So it's a sad situation. Honorable says, what did she do for the family? Were they letting them date in exchange for favors? Well, apparently the kids started living with the teacher. So I guess they were homeless and needed somewhere to live. So she let them move in with them, but not the parents. Yeah, it's some weird stuff going on. Very weird. All right, let me show y'all something else. Let me show this right here. Brayden says, Mandingo or Drum, the movie is a must watch on YouTube. It's an old school movie, but the psychology is deep, still. Oh yeah, I seen them. The infamous scene. I think one of them has that scene with the guy we bring up a lot with Travis. When I think it was Drum. Drum was the one who chased him down, and he said, "After you hang me, kiss my ass." That scene is always funny to me. But yeah, the whole situation with Drum is sad because I remember years ago, I went into the comment section, and I saw dudes trying to make this idea that they were trying to come to the conclusion that there was some type, that this was a love story. You had black men and black women arguing in a comment section over a movie about slavery, about if it's a love. It was crazy. Yeah. Honorable says that doesn't sound nothing like Mary Kay. She groomed a deadbeat. Shake my head. All right. Let me show this now.
Let's not think about Lake Lanier. Let's, as a people, think about Oscarville and the people of Oscarville. Let's think about that. Let's think about their lives, because their families, and we just don't know. You know what I mean? But that outside of, let's learn our stories, and then let's stand on our stories. It's our story, because Oscarville is our story. and we shouldn't run away from our story.
So obviously this is a story about Lake Lanier, which led to, I want to show this. Where is that? Okay, I'm gonna show this. I want to show this right quick. So now that Trump is in office, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's so, good Lord. Trump is in office, and now House Democrats introduce bill to consider reparations for slaves. Ugh. Somebody in office, you told us and was for our people for 4 years, and you wait until Trump get in office. Now you try to kick up. It's just, I'm sick of these people, man. I want to show this though.
After years of building up,
I showed this before.
We're finally building up our country, standing up for our workers and fighting for our forgotten communities. The first and highest duty of government is to take care of its own citizens. African Americans built this nation through generations of blood, sweat, and tears. And you, like all of our citizens, are entitled to a government that puts your needs, your interests, and your families first.
And then it's funny because this right here is something that brings us to Gulf of America. Yeah, we're going to get to Canada as well. It seemed like Trudeau actually shook. There might be something true, or maybe he's trying to push a narrative. Funny, this happened at the Superbowl halftime show, too.
It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the floor. 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Honorable says, this is a trick bag. They need us on the streets and on the front lines for their precious Latinx illegal. Yeah, I feel like they're about to try and tie the reparations thing into use that to push against Trump, pretty much. Just trying to use it to push against Trump. I don't know, bigger than the music. Shout out to K-Dot. Shout out to him. Then I saw a bunch of old white ladies coming out saying, oh, I just learned about 40 acres and a mule. It's like, bruh, come on. Come on, man. Bruce said they going back to white people bands after this. Oh, yeah. And forget the music and the halftime show and the people who liked it or didn't. The whites were calling it DEI. What a white, because he had no, as far as we've seen at least, the dancers, there were no white people in the entire set. It was all black people. So they were saying, well, wow, what happened to the diversity? They are sick of it. They said you promised us diversity and...
Well, we don't believe you. You need more people.
Yeah, they called them racist. They were saying how it was like DEI halftime. They was going crazy. Oh, man. All right, let me show these people talking about this right quick.
Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for descendants of enslaved Africans, to eliminate the racial wealth gap, to uplift the black community. White supremacy is rampant in this country. Just look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to social and economic harms to...
No, they were saying, the white people were saying that black people were asked to be in their spaces, which is diverse. So they said, now you at the Super Bowl, where the white people at? Why ain't white people dancing behind Kendrick?
Racial terror black have experienced in this country. Now, more than ever, we must acknowledge and repair those harms.
Now, Brayden says only one that can. Yeah, I will say this, because I went back, I'm looking at these Super Bowl performances, and I was like, well, the biggest viewership, because I see people, dissing this, the biggest viewership for the halftime show came from, as far as post the Super Bowl, the video on social media and stuff, was Dr. Dre. It was hip hop. Hip hop garnered the most views so far with 320. They're a pop artist. Like, I don't think they're going away from hip hop. I think it's going to be another hip hop act, but I think it'll be a lot more mixed. They'll probably get 3 people next time and have a headline, but they're going to have hip hop and stuff mixed in with it. I know, since I thought we were fighting for the left, fighting to be left alone, for them to stop interfering with our progress. That's not asking for diversity. When they're talking about DEI, talking about the white people, they're basically saying, if you want to come in our spaces, well, when you come in our spaces to be celebrated, you need to include us in it. So.
All right, good afternoon, and thank you, everyone, for...
She said they want MEI, which is what they got.
for braving the inclement weather as we gather to take an essential step forward in the long and ongoing fight for justice, accountability, and healing for Black America. Today, I'm deeply honored to reintroduce H.R. 40, historic legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery, to develop reparations proposals.
Brilliant. H.R. 40 is back. Brilliant says, unknown stat. All Super Bowl quarterbacks had a father in the house or active participant. Best hood is fatherhood. You know, it's unfortunate that with sports, that narrative has been, and it's really the NBA and the NFL that did this the most, because baseball has always celebrated the fathers. If you look at basketball and look at the best players, only a handful of them come from a single parent household. That's like LeBron, that's Kevin Durant. I think Draymond Green maybe had that situation, but all the other stars, you talking about Steph Curry and all these other people, they all had their mothers and fathers. Most of them grew up middle class. You talk about Ja Morant and LaMelo Ball and all the Ball brothers, and you talk about most NBA players, most of the Black players, maybe 70, 80%, maybe even more, grew up with their two-parent household, middle class, most of them. NFL, some of these dudes in the NFL, the Black ones come from really wealthy families. These Black dudes are not coming from broken homes. They always make sure to spotlight those people. Like I remember a few years ago, DeAndre Hopkins. I was so pissed they did that. Before one of the games, I can't remember if it was a playoff game or a regular season game. You know, the NFL like to do these storylines going into the week. And they literally brought up this man's mama being in prison and selling drugs. It was like, bro, why are you spotlighting that? Just celebrate his success. Congratulate his family. But why are you trying to spotlight it like all these dudes come from these drug dealing families and power? It's unfortunate. Honorable Keeper said, perfect bald head. You know what they say? Never trust a bald headed liar. Honorable says, brilliant. Who created that stat? Google it, especially Black ones. Honorable says, who created the narrative? Seemed like something crafted by Blacks. I'll say it's something. I'll agree with you that it's something we lean into a lot. I think amongst Black people, we like the get it out of the mud story, the rags to riches. I remember when people found out that Odell Beckham family was like damn near millionaires. Mark Golden says, we are statistically the number one dads in America. When it comes to being a part of the child's life, statistics, the studies say yes. But HR 40 is back, and they're back promoting this under Trump to try to get Black people to push this again. At some point, it's just like, all right. The same old tied lines. Quick story on this, though. There's a couple police in danger of losing their land to eminent domain. Let me show this. Somehow it's always Georgia and South Carolina, too. But the Black family won't back down after court allows a railroad to take their land. Blaine and Diane Smith were hurt but unsurprised when a Georgia Superior Court judge ruled last week that a railroad company could seize their land despite their refusal to sell. For nearly 2 years, they have been fighting to stop Sandersville Railroad Company, a 130-year-old white-owned business, from building a 4.5-mile rail spur through the historically Black neighborhood in rural Sparta. The company initiated eminent domain, which is a process that allows the government to seize private property for public use. However, the property owners must receive just compensation. The proposed spur would cut through parts of the property Blaine and his siblings inherited, which includes 600 acres acquired by his grandfather in the 1920s. Growing up, he farmed, fished, and hunted on the land. His family cultivated cotton, fruits, vegetables, and timber, and raised pigs, chickens, and cows. Not only has it been used to feed generations, but to pay for some family members' education as well. Currently, his brother Mark Smith and his wife, Janet Page Smith, live in the land. Sandersville Railroad wants 11 acres from Blaine and Diane, 3 parcels. The company also wants about 6 acres for his cousin Marvin Smith Jr., and his wife Patricia Smith, and about 2 acres from his nephew Ahmad Lee, according to the filings in the Georgia Public Service Commission. with a railroad just a few hundred feet away from the home. It would disrupt their peace and run through the middle of the land where Blaine plants trees. He also worried about the potential damage to the property and hazardous products that he thinks will be transported on the tracks and people trespassing. Sandersville Railroad rebutted the statement, claiming no hazardous products will be shipped on the line. Briggs says, well, damn if we do and damn if we don't, banana. Honorable says, oh my God, not the BS study. I can't take that serious. First, it was surveyed people in first and only surveyed people in California. Believe it or not. But they're trying to take their land. The judge has ruled in favor of the railroad company, unfortunately. This happens a lot. It's been happening historically. And it's funny because this will happen. And then in another 60 years, they'll double back and say, oh, this was a wrongdoing. We got to fix this. And they'll give his descendants a little bit of change, and then they'll move on and say we made something right. But America does have an infrastructure problem. It's a big deal. We see the planes falling and all this other stuff. And yeah. Now I got to get to this too. Speaking of taking something, we might got to give up New Orleans, people. We might got to give up New Orleans. So Essence had this to say, Dear New Orleans, this is right after the, whatchamacallit, it's in collaborations with Essence and Edward Buckles. The Dear New Orleans film honors the spirit of Black New Orleans, giving the city its flowers while celebrating those who keep its traditions alive. This is more than a tribute. Dear New Orleans celebrates a culture that continues to thrive, from the city's beauty and resilience to its culture, traditions, and people. It's a heartfelt celebration of people and traditions that make New Orleans one of a kind. Let me play this clip of what they had to say to New Orleans.
So much of who I am is directly tied to this city. New Orleans has played such a crucial role historically, to emphasize just what this city really is and can and will be.
They say that New Orleans is the northernmost Caribbean island or the most African city in America. And of what? Right, our diasporic connections, and not just to Africa.
This place would not lift off the page if the ancestors were not alive and well. It stands on the backs of the ancestors. They have nothing to sell if it wasn't for the ancestors. The number one export out this sucker is culture, 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 culture.
So they did this whole thing where they gave this Dear New Orleans and compared it and stamped that it was a Caribbean African influence, or at least that's where his culture comes from. Oh, this led to a lot of stuff all over the place. It was a lot of talk. I saw some people from New Orleans that were saying, yeah, when you read the books and you see the history and how, the French obviously owned this, and obviously Haiti, and they were transporting people back and forth. And once it was purchased by America, it led to the influx of the quote unquote we consider now Black Americans, but the foundation is Haitian or African, should I say, which would make more sense. It wouldn't be Haitian at all because that wasn't Haiti. That would be Africans. But anyway, I did see a lot of people saying this is a damn lie. I lived here all my life and I ain't never heard nobody say we were Caribbean. So Honorable says, LOL, by Louisiana, that state's history confuses me and the most. When did African Americans get there? They can have it. Well, see, that's the thing they're trying to say. They're trying to say that because it was owned by the French, any quote unquote, any Black people, quote unquote, that were there would have been from the French people that owned the slaves. So, and the French also was getting most of those slaves, was sending them from Haiti. That would make those people Africans or / Haitians, I'm sorry. Some people dispute that. Mark said, I can't claim something you sold away. That's true. If it was owned by the French, and I don't want to diss Haiti, some not, but if it was owned by the French and it was sold, and then now these people build this culture there, you can't really claim what's there now. They try to bring up how the houses are built. It's the same way they're built in Haiti, but they're also built in other places that the French were in control of. Obviously, homes in France aren't built the same way as they are in Haiti or Louisiana, is because they're not in a tropical environment. So that's obvious. So they try to take credit for all of it. Brady said Louisiana Purchase was crazy. Brady says African Americans lived in Louisiana. However, the French went broke because of the war. They sold Louisiana to the United States. That was the Louisiana Purchase. Yeah. A lot of stuff happened around that time, along with obviously what was going on with Napoleon over there and with Russia, the war. And like I said, we talked about this before. They was in the winter trying to fight against two countries, or multiple countries really, which led to Haiti being able to get its freedom, which led to a lot of tightening of the rope in America and expansion of slavery really with the Louisiana Purchase. Yeah, it didn't really go the way they wanted to go, at least here. Reagan says his story versus my story. Yeah. But yeah, the back and forth, I seen the people who would be considered, I'll call them just more Pan-African, who were saying that there should be a sense of pride that New Orleans and Louisiana in particular, obviously, were able to sustain and keep that culture that come from so long ago and in America, how it became what they consider the bedrock of their export. It's their tourists, everything they get is from that culture. You know, they bring up Mardi Gras and how they dress, like the carnival and all the other stuff. Look, anytime I've seen videos of people from Louisiana who claim they're Haitian, they always point out they parents are from Haiti. They never say, I'm Haitian, but my family been here for 150 years. They always say, my family's from Haiti, I'm a second generation or whatever, and I'm Haitian and I'm living in Louisiana. So it's more so the narrative has been that New Orleans has a lot of connections to the Caribbean. So some of them, when they come to America, they make a decision to go to New Orleans. And they claim the culture. So it is what it is. Arnold says, African Americans need to stay out of the French and Spaniard people business. I need to know when our people move there. Louisiana Creoles are a different people group than African Americans. So I'll be quiet on this. Well, if you go back, when I showed that list last week of the different racial categories that once existed in America, we talk about the mulatto and all that other stuff, Creole was considered French or Spanish. It wasn't black at all. So I guess that would be the mid-1800s or late 1800s. They considered a Creole person to just be French or Spaniard. That's it. No black. That's why I always say when people try to say, no, there's the black Creoles and there's the white one. Look, whenever I've seen videos and then I know it's fake, whenever they've done those BS DNA tests, it always come back more European. I'm not saying that's the way you actually qualify somebody's blackness, but I'm just saying. Mark said Africans need to make peace with the fact that they haven't been in our lives for hundreds of years. Brilliant. It was colonized, Honorable, hence why you speak English and they speak Creole. Honorable, brilliant. Were we over there prior to the purchase? That's what confuses me. We are from the 13 British colonies and have nothing to do with us. I would imagine during that time, just because that land is owned by a different quote unquote country or different power, there were still people who will be considered English that owned property in that area. They just probably had to pay a tax to a different group, obviously. But I'm pretty sure there would be what we consider Black Americans, not just slaves. I'm talking about just Black Americans that were there. But that population versus what the population of what the French people were doing, I don't know. Anyway, they were all in the comment section on their ass about it. The community they had a community notes on the video, but then somehow it got taken down. So I don't know. I said the young generation of Louisiana Creoles are now claiming LC as a subgroup of African Americans, which is a false narrative. Only subgroup is Gula Geechee. Well, if you go back to back in the day during that time, the eastern part of America was literally called the Caribbeans. Because obviously when they came over here, they thought it was all the same. So technically, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, all that was called the Caribbeans at one point. So, hey. Now I want to show this right quick. Hold on. Uncle Luke, man. This is crazy. And I didn't talk about this story last week because I didn't know I didn't know if this was recent. When I looked it up, an old article came up and I didn't know if it was recent or not. It says African Americans have never been under French or Spanish rule. The end. Let me show this. Tariq Nasheed put this out, but he's the only person that put it out. But when I looked this up, I only got an old article from last year of this happening. I didn't see anything more recent, so I didn't know if it was recent or not. But he posted this. He said a group of neo-Nazis tried to have a march in Cincinnati, and the foundational Black American community pulled up in droves and ran them off the block. The white supremacists had their flags taken and burned, and the community found their vehicles and smashed them up. Let me show, see, this is them. Over the highway. Let me try to fast forward through this. Getting ran down on. And it's always the U-Haul truck. Remember they did this 2 years ago. Really every year I see this. They be in U-Haul trucks. You see these quote-unquote neo-Nazi groups. They'll get in the back of a U-Haul truck and then pull up somewhere and hop out and then get ran. They got ran out last year. Any year before that this happened. So this is some type of... Yeah.
Burn that bitch up. Burn that bitch up, man. Burn that bitch burn. Let that bitch burn. Yeah. What I'm talking about? I'm out. Still liquidations on 15 shit.
That's them burning their neo-Nazi flags.
What's up, Will? Come over here. We'll kill all of them.
They want to die today. What's up, Will?
I will say, I'm not saying I'm calling for this, but I do like the fact that they are in this environment. This is low level. This ain't nothing too serious, but the fact that they're standing in front of them, they recognize the possibility of, it going there. That's a good thing. You recognize the danger when he says somebody gonna die today. That's a good quality. Brilliant says we were everywhere globally. They invaded the West and colonized and divided the U.S. like South America. And I'm saying that name wrong. I'm sorry. African Americans are under global white supremacy, the worst one of all. Yeah. So yeah, Tariq showed that. That became a story that people was talking about all day, and then Luther Campbell said this right here in response. He said, "Hold on, let me understand this. Number one, no one in this video said they were FBA. I'm pretty sure it's a mixture of all black people from all nationalities." Now, he know that the vast majority of quote-unquote black people in this country would be considered Black American. So that don't make sense. But anyway, he said, "You're a cult," and he spelled it like the team, the Indianapolis Colts, or the football team, not cult as in, Jim Jones. But anyway, you have no movement. This is your shit taking credit. This is your new shit taking credit. And the craziest thing about this is you promoting Trump, supporting white supremacy over black people. You got this motherfucker in office. Don't try to slide back over here. Over here? Okay. You gave these motherfuckers nuts to try some sucker shit like this. It's real people in Cincinnati that don't play that shit. Oh, God. Honorable says, this was recent clips on TikTok. Blacks from after the blacks from Lincoln Heights and Evendale. I read they got rid of the police in their town. Oh, okay. Tariq responded, "Uncle Lizard, you're a gap-toothed, mush-mouthed tether that has nothing to do with those FBA riders in Cincinnati who stood on business against those neo-Nazis that the Democrats allowed to roam those streets. And you can please take some, can you please take some adult classes so your illiterate ass can learn how to spell cult?" What up, Antonio? Is how does bringing 20 slaves from Africa mixed in with an existing people in the hundreds of thousands turn them Haitian? How that makes sense? Well, you don't know how many that was. It was a French territory. So the assumption would be that it was particularly, obviously, French people and their property will be considered their property. Although I'm pretty sure because it's right in the same, on the border, there were people who were considered English that lived in the territory as well. But we don't know. I don't know the numbers. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the numbers. But I would. The area couldn't have been majority English. It would have to been majority French. But then again, maybe not. The English were probably a little deeper, maybe, possibly. Hold on. All right. Yeah, in 2014, Lincoln Heights disbanded police department. Oh, okay. So they have their own police force. They have their own security detail. That would be the hope if they got rid of that. Speaking of get rid of stuff, because this week Trump is talking about doing something with. Let me show this right quick. The real.
I got
welfare
a DHS letter in the mail this morning, and I just now opened it. And somebody reported me to the state of Michigan because I'm making money on TikTok, and I drive a 2024 BMW. They have cut my food stamps from almost $4,000 a month down to $88 a month. They are telling me if I want a review that I have to sell my car. So you're telling me if you were on welfare, food stamps, cash assistance, Section 8, you can't drive a nice car? Me to sell my brand new BMW, or I lose almost $4,000 in food stamps. Not only that, they have taken my cash assistance totally away. They are telling me that Section 8 will no longer be paying 95% of my rent, only 10% of my rent.
Yeah, this blew me. I'm confused. Virginia said $4K a month. That's what I'm saying. Like, wait, why are you getting $4,000 a month in benefits? They paying 97% of your rent. Why the hell are you buying why are you buying a BMW? I'm confused.
So I will have to pay a little over $400 a month now instead of $60 a month. They cannot.
Oh, it looks like the Doge got you too, boo.
I'm surprised by the complaint she's making. Like, you bought a BMW. It seemed like you living beyond your means or something going on. You're making money from TikTok. That was crazy. But that showed me the foreshadow of what's possibly going on. And I'm going to dive further into that when I get to the second segment when we start talking about these cuts that Elon or Doge is trying to do as far as the aid they're giving to other countries. I'm going to go further into that. Let me get to this first. This is a quick story I want to get to. Who is really on web? Exactly. Like I said last week, somebody brought up how, in New York, but in particular, the Jewish people getting tens of thousands of dollars in food stamps, some of them. It's like, what the hell going on? I remember years ago, there was a video that went viral of a woman and a man breaking up. It was one of those gender war videos, People was using it for dialogue about the man and the women. And they were in a pretty nice home. And one of the things that the woman said to the man when she was talking crazy to him, she was like, it's your fault that I have to go to the government to provide for me because you can't provide. And I stopped like, wait, y'all are on welfare in this house? Like, when anybody I've ever known on welfare, they don't live in the most glorious of homes. They were living in a very nice house and they were on benefits. And it's different. You realize that two Americas thing is real. What they give them to live normal, what they consider the minimal for them, and what they consider the minimal for other groups is totally different. I don't say ChatGPT. Law enforcement services have been provided by the Hampton County Sheriff under the contractual agreement, $700,000 annual for coverage, including patrols by 8 officers. So All right, they rented them out. They did it themselves. They went and got somebody to do the policing for them at the city. All right. Brilliant says, show me a black person coming up like that. All that money they find, and I haven't seen benefit one black person. They just funneling it up to other white people. Yeah, but they about to funnel it somewhere else. Honorable says, yeah, white votes against their own interests again. We shame the one black woman somebody knows who think this is getting over for pennies on the dollar. Yeah. Let me show this and we get to that second segment. Military drops recruiting efforts at prestigious Black Engineering Awards event. Now, this story turned into Trump don't want black military more. We're not going to this particular event to recruit. I didn't get them saying they don't want black people in the military. It didn't say that at all. It literally just saying at this particular event, don't have money to recruit. Anybody who go there, it'll be them doing it on their own to recruit. We're just not going to put a budget to the side to recruit people at this event. Just go to the event and recruit. But anyway, I don't even know why I got honestly. Ex-mayor Bill de Blasio announced his new girlfriend on eve of Valentine's Day. Hold on. De Blasio, the former mayor of New York, he was the one make his kids around mascots pretty much. Let me get down. Hold on. So now he's dating this progressive activist who used to be on Young Turks. Hold on. All right. All right, I want to show this. Bishop said, think Jay-Z is guilty. And Jay-Z is more than guilty. Jay-Z would never get rid of the assumption or the belief that he is a piece of shit person. Devil, Illuminati member. He's never getting rid of that. But I want to show this because this is Bill de Blasio, new girl, and they showed this picture of them in 2018. Apparently, he was familiar with her, obviously. And this is the woman that he was married to. And there's a theory by people that this whole time when he was in office, that their entire relationship was arranged around politics. How the entire time she was a lesbian who simply married him because she could use him strategically to get in positions of power. How he's not really that bright. He's not really somebody who's politically savvy. It's her who was the person who pretty much helped him. He moved out. Maybe they got a divorce or something. Now he announces his new girl. Pointed out how he was a feminist woman who was a part of the, what's his name of this? Combahee River Collective. Is the group of women who believe that the issue of women, black women and gays not being need to be a new movement for the women and the gays. So this woman, this lesbian woman got with this Caucasian man just for political reasons. As soon as he's no longer in politics, as at least not the mayor, they're no longer together, and he immediately with a feminist, progressive. Politics is my God. Arnold says, why are people mad? Never heard of this program ever. Funny, this came out around the time black dude was saying black men are overrepresented in the military and highly trained. We'll F it out of here. Well, no, like I said, they were just making the point that he's not going to put a budget to the side to recruit at that event, you know. Regina says you can look upside his head and see he's just an average mofo. Yeah, he's not. You could tell he's not, you know. Like remember he ate the burger and fries to try and convince the people in New York to take the vaccine. Like, look, y'all, look at the burgers, fries, delicious. He was trying to bribe them with burgers and fries to take that vaccine. That was crazy. Brings said, bless her heart. All right, another video. Video shows Taco Bell security guard slapping woman at DTLA. Taco Bell security guard slapped this woman. Let me play this video. Once I saw, I might be wrong about his ethnicity. Once I saw he looked Arab, I wasn't surprised. This, I'm gonna be honest. I try not to come to a conclusion on these type of videos based off of just the video starting and something happening. Because clearly he been trying to get her out of the store. They've been going back and forth. But I don't know if I can convince myself that a belligerent woman not wanting to leave the store gives you to just slap her. If anything, you could have just forced her out. To just slap her is that was wild. I'm sorry. That was crazy. Honestly, sad. Regina said, saddening video on IG and told hubby I can't fight, but I would have dragged that immigrant all over the floor, even if it was ultimately kicked my ass, but he wouldn't brag about that fight. Punk. Anonymous says, remember that? Remember they want you on the front line, but no one spoke up for her. Virginia says, Hub also said he got my back, number 1 and 2. Had it been present, he would have beat his ass for her too. Yeah, I don't think, I don't know what she did to, once again, forcing her out because she's been belligerent or she's not supposed to be there. Okay. I don't know what she did for him to just walk up and flat out slap her. That was crazy. I don't know. It didn't look like she hit him. It didn't look like she, I don't know. I see a lot of people across social media was like, if I was there, ain't no way in hell, stuff like this just don't happen when I'm around. But there's a dude right there. It's a black dude right there. The cameraman, we don't know what they are. It just looked like they were just kind of over her. Whatever she was doing, they just was like, hey. And I did know that this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is in, let me make sure I see where this is at. Let me see. A coalition of African-American leaders are calling for the arrest and firing of Taco Bell security guard after the video online shows him slapping a woman. Oh, LA. This is in LA too? Oh, Lord. So he probably not Arab, he probably just Mexican. Virginia said Hub is too old, is old school OG man. He would never let another man attack a woman, period. Well, I said that you have to be careful involving yourself in certain situations, but also there is a certain level. To me, whenever a man, a grown man, hit a woman in front of you, there is a little bit of disrespect to you as a man. I'm not saying that it should always involve you as far as if you know what's going on, because if this is some domestic violence stuff, you would like to help, but unfortunately, we've seen a lot of examples of dudes trying to help in those situations and end up getting them harmed or killed. But a random man attacking a random woman in front of you is a little bit of, damn, you think I'm pussy? Like, you just think you could just do something like that in front of me and I ain't gonna do nothing? Like, you think you intimidating to me that I ain't gonna do something about you? There's a little bit of that there. But, Honorable says that in the moment when he attacked her, he is shown spinning her around and slapping her. She will not be homelessness anymore. Yeah, that's the part too. It seems like she just said something that just ticked him off, and he just made a decision before he even walked up on her that he was just going to slap her. It's not even about getting her out of the store at that point. It was just about slapping her at that point. At the beginning of the video, the unidentified woman and security guard appeared to be in some sort of altercation. She then walked over to the digital ordering screen, and as she is typing, the security guard pulled away and immediately slapped her on the face. Let me make sure I see the beginning again to see if there was any contact. No, she just walked away. He tried to grab her and she walked away. Virginia says some immigrants think they got white rights to swing on so-called blacks and whomever else. Nope to all the nopes and nopes land. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that stuff, especially in like New York. You'll see these Hispanics or whites or whatever, Asians, go on these racist rants when it's a black woman by herself, and it's unfortunate. Anyway, we'll see what happened with that. They calling for him to be fired. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if there's going to be some type of lawsuit, maybe, who knows. Honorable said those people were waiting for their chance to have a moment with the black person. Shake my head. Yeah. Let me go to the next story, and we'll be done after this. Sorry, hold on. Pause that. All right. Let me show this. Brittany says, every situation different. Just the word immigrant adds extra madness nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, because it's like you're not even supposed to, I ain't gonna say some of them are legal, obviously, but especially if it's illegal, it's like you're not even supposed to be here and you causing ruckus. You killing and raping and committing fraud, like you doing stuff and you're not even supposed to be here. It's like a double whammy. Anyway, let me show this right here. We talked about this last week. How the U.S. AID, how they found out how a lot of money was being given to news corporations overseas and stuff. Trump demands radical left Reuters return a $9 million government contract. He's the one who paid it out in the first place. Okay, all this stuff about y'all already seen this, obviously. All the rolling back of a lot of the money they're saying they're giving out, aid. It looks like, you know how before there's a tsunami, how the water tends to pull back from the shore and you're able to walk further into the ocean. But you know that when that means at some point a tsunami is on the way. It reminds me of someone either preparing for something that's coming, or we're already effed and they're trying to find a way to get pull as much money back as possible to make what's already happening not bad as here. Let me just get to this. So please load, please. It's been doing this all day. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. All these pullbacks. All right, here we go. All right. Doge subcommittee uncovers $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare, Medicaid payments. Honorable said, did you see old boy from the Ukraine talking about European countries might not be able to depend on the U.S. funding as they don't think America needs them? Oh, yeah. They already come to the conclusion with Trump, with what he's doing. They're already they got to start looking towards the future as a possibility that Trump is going to try to sever ties with all these countries being dependent on America funding them. But we'll see. Doge subcommittee reveals $2.7 trillion in improper payments since 2003, urging reforms to curb government waste. You know what's funny? 15 years ago, when you looked at a headline of an article, when you were in school, however long ago, how often did you hear the word trillion? They throw the word trillion around the way we used to hear the word billion. Like billion was like considered, oh my God, $1 billion. They say trillion now, so it's like the numbers they say now, I don't think we truly understand how much money $2.7 trillion is. Like even with the Pentagon losing trillions of dollars every time they get audited, it's just like, would they even fathom how much money that is that they're wasting? And keep in mind, they tell us that the national debt in America is $30 trillion. But they just wasting $2.7 trillion. Anyway, during the hearing Wednesday, the Department of Government Efficiency subcommittee revealed that since 2003, the U.S. government has issued a staggering $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare and Medicaid payments, including to individuals overseas who are not eligible to receive them. They were giving Medicare and Medicaid payments to people who are not even in America or citizens who are not even eligible. Now, this is where the whole money laundering situation seems like it's about to be brought up, which is what Doge and Elon has been kind of saying blatantly, which is that there's a lot of money laundering going on. We saw that with Ukraine and Zelensky. I'm gonna say that's about the amount we owe African Americans. It's funny enough. The subcommittee findings shed light on the extent of fraud, waste, and mismanagement plaguing the nation's healthcare system. The hearing, titled "The War on Waste: Stamping Out the Surge of Improper Payments and Fraud," was led by Chairwoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. The goal of the subcommittee is to investigate how billions of taxpayer dollars have been squandered annually due to improper payments and fraud. Experts in the field provide step-by-step plans for improving the payment systems, closing loopholes, and implementing strategies to eliminate fraud. Greene says, "Why are black people act like they care or can change what these white folks doing politically or financially? Get your popcorn and chill out." Oh, that's what I'm doing. I look at this stuff and I go, wow, the end of a kingdom. I've been saying it for the last 2-3 years. You can see it. It starts socially, and then the finances start looking a certain way, and certain things start getting revealed that the public is not supposed to know. Do you know how angry this type of stuff make the public? The citizens of America get angry at stuff like this, and not to a point of just complaining. They can cause bigger rifts than we've already seen. We've been hearing that word civil war for the past 8 years, and it looks like they're just constantly doing things. Like it's about to turn to France in America. At some point, you're going to see guillotines down the street. Adam says, so true. We need to wait this one out brilliantly. So it's just, you're going to see guillotines in the street from these white people at some point.
When Musk comes knocking at the Fed's door, you going to let him in?
I don't have anything for you on that.
Would you like to tell us today that you won't let Doge into the Federal Reserve or have access to the systems and the data?
So we've had no contact, and I don't really have, I have nothing for you to report today on that.
Well, you know what happened at Treasury, and you know what happened over at the CFPB, and the people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by...
I never forget when somebody took her picture and put her next to James Brown in an interview where he had to look like a wig. Oh, man.
Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us, our bank accounts, everything that in our lives. So I want to protect it in the Fed. Mr. Powell, the last time you tested Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us, our bank accounts, taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us.
Was that a fraudulent slip, or is she just older lady and didn't realize what she said how that can be taken? We don't know what they all have on us. Maxine, did you just Miss Maxine, did you know what you just kind of said? We don't know what all they have on us. Oh, man.
Bank accounts, everything that in our lives. So I want to protect it in the Fed. Mr. Powell, the last time you testified before this committee, you said, and I quote, "Really successful institutions in the United States generally are those that do a really good job on diversity and get the best out of people and attract a broad, diverse range of talents to the table. That is why we..."
All right. You know, it's funny because I remember when, I think it was last year, they were talking about the Federal Reserve and Chairman Jerome Powell. And they were saying how Trump was calling for Jerome Powell to step down and be fired. And you know what he said? He can't fire me. He has no power. He has no jurisdiction over it, at all. The president can't fire the Federal Reserve chairman. They have complete. You can't do nothing to us at all. We're independent from. Anyway, Mark Gordon Waters needs to retire. Honorable Go Auntie, time to retire. Honorable the wig is already giving up on her. Brady said, let them squabble up. They're gonna have to. Mark, her dentures are giving up on her. Virginia said, what they have on us? Exactly. And Honorable said, what do they do when they retire? Is it to go back to the local activism? Well, they're supposed to retire and just go mind their business. But yeah, a lot of it is they use their name as influence on other things, local social think tanks and all that other stuff. But yeah, what she just said was a red flag. What we don't know what all they have on us. All right. Biden's EPA issued $20 million in green grants. Now Trump's administration wants that money back. Once again, they're pulling the water back. Tsunami is coming. In a major reversal, the new head of Environmental Protection Agency said he would try to rescind $20 billion in grants awarded by the Biden administration for climate and clean energy projects. In a video posted on X, Administrator Lee Zeland said the EPA would revoke contracts for the still emerging Green Bank that is set to fund tens of thousands of projects to fight climate change and promote environmental justice. Well, they said it's too late. Remember they were doing that clock down? We talked about they were doing that clock down to when America or when the world needed to make a shift before it was too late. And now they've already passed that date, so now the billionaires are just saying, hey, let's just have fun. Fuck it. Honorable says, were farmers in that bill? Well, most of the things I've seen them do with farmers is kind of taxing them. We talked about it with the pigs, with cows, how in certain countries they wanted to tax farmers for having fouls for cows farting. So, yeah. More cutbacks. Hold on. Hold on. Elon Musk team decimates education department arm that tracks national school performance. The Trump administration cancels $900 million in contracts overseen by the Institute of Education Science, which partners with scientists and education companies to complete and make public data about schools each year. So basically, if I'm reading this right, when I read this, people were being paid to watch. There was one thing in here. People were being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to watch how certain departments operate. Not come up with a plan to make it work better. Not come up with a plan to fix it. They literally were paid money to just watch people. Brings an intelligent street gangster does far less damage than a wealthy politician. Well, stroke of the pen is worth more than a rifle. Let me see. Let me go to this next one. I'm jumping to this. I'm gonna get to something in a bit. I'm trying to jump through this stuff, but it's just loading slow. Here we go. Okay. WikiLeaks reveals U.S. spent $472 million to promote covert censorship, media control through NGO. Interviews which receive funding claims to have, Internews, which receive funding claims to have worked with 4,291 media outlets and producing 4,799 hours of broadcast in 1 year alone, reaching up to 778 million people globally. Brings said, "Oh, you're a local politician." Honorable says, "Do you cover Elon nasty child behavior?" I missed it. Nasty child behavior. I didn't see that. Elon, I had to block him on social media. He was just spamming I just had to get away from him. I haven't been watched anything on Elon outside of what he's doing with Doge. So now they're said what we said last week, which we knew. America is funding news companies to push propaganda across the world. WikiLeaks has revealed that the U.S. allegedly transferred nearly $500 million through Internews Network, a global media non-governmental organization suspected of promoting covert censorship and media control. Internews claims to have worked with 4,200 media outlets, producing 4,700 hours of broadcast in 1 year alone. 778 million people reached. Globally, it was also trained over 9,000 journalists. trained over 9,000 journalists in 2023 and supported social media censorship initiatives, WikiLeaks said the series of posts on X. I said something happened in the Oval Office. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I mean, they don't found cocaine in there. You got I'm pretty sure they ended up doing the hold on. All right. Yeah, we already kind of knew this. I'm trying to run through this to get to a point. Hold on. Oh, this is what I want to get to. Once again, nothing we didn't expect. Just going to show the headline. U.S. aid funded Al-Qaeda, Taliban, ISIS. U.S. Congressman Scott Perry drops bombshell in the House hearing. A U.S. Congressman Scott Perry has accused the U.S. Agency of International Development of funding terrorist organizations, including Boko Haram, ISIS, and Al-Qaeda. Perry, a Republican from Pennsylvania, made these claims on Thursday during the first hearing of a subcommittee of delivering a government efficiency on government efficiency. I just played this one.
The Taliban is classified, and if you don't know, the Taliban's in charge of Afghanistan. They're classified as a specially designated global terrorist organization by OFAC. So post-2021, so this is last year, 2024, we spent $697 million of the taxpayers' dollars in Afghanistan, including $534,719,000 in change from USAID in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is ruled by folks named Sarajuddin Haqqani. The Haqqani network mean anything to anybody in the room? How about Abdullah bin Laden? Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding.
Yeah, we already knew this. So I wonder what the play is for them. Are the Republicans trying to create the idea that, hey, Trump is trying to get rid of all this stuff, even though last administration, he actually funded some of these things. Is this his way of trying to appeal to the average person? Hey, look at all this money your politicians are wasting. We're going to expose it all. We're going to quote unquote stop it, which we know that's not true. Breen says, remember the United States got kicked out of Afghanistan 2 years ago and left all the money and the equipment over there. They didn't leave shit. That was the payment they left for leaving. How do you leave millions of dollars in just cash stacked on top of it? And why is this money just stacked here? What is this for? You just leave these, all right. And the weapon, you left everything they would need to be in power. Everything they would need to be in power, you left for them. Which means that it seems like it's more just a payment. Anima says African Americans have to start an international something. African Americans have to start an international something to say they funnel some of that money back into ours community. Oh yeah. Trump made chair of Kennedy Center as his president is fired. The president solidified his grip on the performing arts complex at the center's longtime president Deborah F. Rudders was fired. Got her fired, and now Trump is the chair of the Kennedy Center. All right, man. And at the same time, Shonda Rhimes resigns from Kennedy Center board after Donald Trump is elected chair. And I believe Issa Rae canceled an event or something she had planned there. Trump just, this might be the most active I've seen a president in their first couple weeks in office. I ain't gonna lie. He's moving pretty fast. Urgent. Trudeau says Trump threat to annex Canada is a real thing. Canada's outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has told a group of business leaders he believed President Donald Trump might be serious about annexing his country. Keep in mind, this was supposedly on a hot mic. He didn't know he was being listened to. I don't believe that at all. Trudeau suggested Trump has floated the idea of taking over Canada and making it the 51st state because he wants to access the country's critical minerals. Mr. Trump, he also wants to take over Gaza. So yeah, Mr. Trump has it in mind that the easiest way to do is by absorbing our country, and it's a real thing, the Prime Minister said. His comments were made behind the closed doors of a Canada-U.S. Economic Summit in Toronto, but were captured in part by a microphone and were reported on by several Canadian media outlets. Arnold says blacks, 92% not minding their business again. Trudeau comes after exports that would have taxed at a lower. He's saying Trump really want to take over Texas. And then this is the last story we're going to talk about. So as you know, he was pardoned by Trump. I'm speaking about Eric Adams. And people are now stepping down who were on this case, who has something to do with going after him. And there seems to be a reason why Trump pardoned Eric Adams. So I'm not going to go into this, but how the Justice Department helped sink its own case against Eric Adams. A top Trump appointed guided Mr. Adams' legal team as they crafted an argument for dismissing corruption charges against the mayor of America's largest city. So let's get to this right quick. Attorney General Pam Bondi announces legal action against NY Governor Hochul and Attorney General Letitia James. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said Wednesday the Department of Justice is taking legal action against the state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul, Attorney General Letitia James, and New York Department of Motor Vehicles Commission Mark Schroeder. He's also going to go after, what's the guy's name? Alvin Bragg. The reason why Trump pardoned Eric Adams and they're trying to get his stuff dismissed is because Eric Adams is going to be the person to help him go after Letitia James and Alvin Bragg. Also, the person who Daniel Sasson, I don't know how you say that, the U.S. attorney who resigned after the drop charges against Eric Adams. Danielle, has served just 3 weeks as an interim U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, where she penned a letter to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi saying she could not follow a directive to drop the office's corruption case against the New York City Mayor Eric Adams. You see this. Federal prosecutors in New York and Washington resigned after refusing to drop Adams' charges. At least 6 prosecutors, including the acting U.S. attorney in Manhattan, have stepped down over the DOJ order to dismiss corruption charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams. And this is who they really going after, him and Letitia James. Alvin Bragg sees surge in donations as the election year kicks off. We knew that, I already knew this, that when Trump got back in office, he was going to make a point to go after Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, and old girl in Georgia, she already been, it is what it is. But them two, he's not going to let y'all get away scot-free. Let me show this right quick. Brady said, a promise made is a promise kept. Exactly. And what's funny is, it seems like Letitia James knows it. She knows he's going to come after her now, and, she's willing to stand on it. So let's see what she had to say right here.
Last week, Elon Musk and his so-called Department of Government Efficiency have accessed the personal private information of tens of millions of Americans and sensitive data about public and private entities, Social Security numbers, addresses, tax returns, and more. This unelected group, led by the world's richest man, is not authorized to have this information, and they explicitly sought this unauthorized access to illegally block payments that millions of Americans rely on, payments for health care, child care, and other essential programs. Today, Democratic attorneys general are taking action to keep Americans' personal data secure, to keep sensitive information about Americans private, and to uphold our Constitution. We have filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration for giving unauthorized individuals access to these immensely sensitive records in violation of the law.
Yeah. There's a now is a river in Africa. Yeah, I think she know Trump is coming. I assume he believes, as somebody else said, Eric Adams knows where the bodies are buried. Not literal, obviously. At least I hope not. But Eric Adams is the guy Trump is going to use to get the dirt on Letitia and Alvin Bragg. I think Trump is going to try to convince us that there was some type of conspiracy against him, which it looks away. He's going to use Eric Adams to prove this, and Eric Adams in kind he'll be able to move on with his career. He won't be in, he won't end up in prison, and we shall see. But yeah, politics is dirty, man. That's another thing. I saw the reaction to Trump winning the election. It just came off the fear that they were trying to promote to the public. It's quite obvious that the actual fear wasn't their own. They knew that all the stuff they did for the past 4 years, they constantly had him in court, accusing him of stuff. They were trying to get him 100 years, and they lost. And I don't even know if they expected to win those cases. I think they believed that they could direct public enough to where he'll lose quote unquote lose the election. We know a lot of these elections are more about selections than actual democracy. But we shall see what he ends up doing to the attackers. And of course, the people they used to go after Trump were the blacks. They used Letitia James and the Alvin Bragg. I can't remember the guy out of North Carolina. That is Alvin Bragg. I'm sorry. Out of Georgia. I can't remember her name. Used y'all as the face of the people going after them, and now y'all gonna be the ones that take on the attack that's coming. Because you ain't got to worry about all the rest of them. They can retire. This is their last run, their last hurrah. By the time 2028 comes, they're gonna have their feet up on the beach, and they worth 90, 100. The money I've seen from these politicians because the last couple of days they've been trying to expose what these politicians their net worth is. Some of them is false. Some of these people they're calling millionaires, they're not millionaires. But when you talk about what's her name, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and what's the turtle name, the Kentucky dude, I forgot his name. These people worth $95-75 million, but they only make $200K a year for their position. So how the hell are you worth 70, 80, 90 million dollars, but you make $200K a year? Like, they don't make sense. Either you're the greatest stock, you're the greatest at investments ever. You're master investors, or it's some kickbacks. It's obvious being kicked back. I'm gonna say Eric better be rebranded to Mr. Pro Black. I don't know, so those old ass elders whispering on him help. Hey, maybe so. At least that's what he's trying to make it about. Breen says, should me and wifey watch Gladiator 2? Anybody see it yet? I can't get that time back. I haven't watched it, I'll be honest. I'm lying. I did watch it. I'm tripping. I watched it. It wasn't memorable. I'll be honest. To everybody that said it was really just, it was Denzel acting like Denzel, it was good. But if you watch the first one, you don't need to watch this one, honestly. If you have never watched the first one, you can watch this one, but you probably should just watch the first one. It's one of those movies. It's kind of the same story, just told. It's the same story as the first one. I haven't seen it yet. Want to? Yeah, it's the same story as the first one. If you haven't watched the first one, you don't really need to watch this one. If you haven't watched the first one, you can watch this one, type of thing. So, but yeah. Anyway, man, thank y'all for coming through. Y'all, what time is it? I got like 30 minutes. All right, thank y'all for coming through. Appreciate the support as always. So you've seen the first one, yeah, you don't need to watch this one. But then if you want to support Denzel, then, you know, if you like Denzel, give it a look. But anyway, man, as always, be sure to like it on your way out. Subscribe if you're not. Share it if you can. And as always, man, y'all be safe. All praise to the Most High. Peace, man. I don't know, Denzel LGBT scene that never was ruined the marketing. Keeper, thank you, Keeper. Thank you. Brilliant. I'll skip it. Peace. Zip it up and zip it out.